Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody had a great day locking in some profits, trading smart. The Mag 7, everything started out kind of red. The Mag 7 turned to green and things started to move. So let's go through and see what's happening here. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence. How is everybody tonight? Just to go through the news real quick, I was just kind of looking at it real fast. Asian stocks edge lower ahead of Nvidia earnings. I don't know what that means, but Trump wants to deport millions of immigrants. That could scramble the job market and raise prices. Stock futures tick higher as Wall Street gears up for Nvidia's quarterly results. And Newman Trump could be the next Biden. I don't even know what that means either, but that's the five news stories or four. And then the other one, the NASDAQ rised 1% and the bond yields declined. So that's what it says on the five stories on FinViz. Let's get cruising and see what's going on in this market. Had a few poppers there today. NCNC, PRFX, SOAR, they all soared. They all went for over 100%. They were all on our list. We were way early on all of them. So we'll find some more and we'll see what's going to be popping next here. So here we go. Let's get cruising. Let's look at ELAB. It did pull back and it doesn't look too bad, to be honest with you. It pulled back a little today. I guess more than a little, about 7%, and then it went up 1% in the after hours. But again, I was looking at it all day, and it never ever looked like it was bad. It just looked like some healthy pullback, is what it looked like to me. So it did get up a little bit in the after hours. Not that doesn't mean a whole lot, but we'll definitely keep an eye on it in the morning. And like I said, it does not look bad. It did run up the other day, obviously, and then it's been pulling back. It never got out of the basement, and it's still curled up and looks pretty decent there. And our 20 is only at like 4.5 cents, and we're at 2 cents. So it's not like it's astronomically high, and it could easily get to it. So that is our ELAB. And again, we'll go through that in the morning because I still think it looks good there, and we'll take a look at it. XTIA did pull back. It was running around a little bit. It opened up at 5. It came down to like 0.475 and it closed around 5. I think it pulled back a little under that. Let me just take a look. But that one again looked like a little healthy pullback. Didn't look too bad. So we'll keep an eye on that and see what that wants to do. And that 20 is at like 6 cents and we're at 5. So another one that's right there. And it's just a matter of when they want to get popping because they are right there getting ready. It's just like I said, they just have to get moving. And it opened up too red, I think, for them to really get popping. Maybe tomorrow is going to be a nice green day, hopefully with Nvidia. They usually do carry the market pretty well. And we'll obviously go through that. Their earnings are tomorrow. And I think a lot of it's resting on that as usual because their earnings were off from all the other Mag 7 were all a couple weeks ago. We remember them and we knew that Nvidia's were coming up right before Thanksgiving here. So we'll see how that's getting going to look and how it's going to affect the market here. But look at SVMH, another one pulled back like 11% and still in a great spot. Went up like 2.5% in the after hours, but it did come out of the basement. It just looks like it wants to get cruising. It didn't have the chance to do it. Keep your eye on it. A little healthy pullback, it looks like. And again, it's in a great spot right there. It did run up a little bit, but I think it's wants to get cruising and it's still setting up. And that 20's at like 3 cents and we're at two, a little like 3.5 over that. So it's not like these things are way off and they are just setting up. They're just taking their time. I think the whole Russia Ukraine conflict thing today is a little throwing things off a little bit and I posted about that today and not to be political at all but it is a little bizarre that our country would allow Ukraine at this moment to go shooting US missiles into Ukraine right now. I don't think Biden okayed that. I don't even think he has the mindset to even think about it. So obviously it proves that he hasn't run the country the entire time. Someone's been behind it. But who is making that call right there? Like who's allowing that to happen when they just lost the election and you're gonna have a change of power in like 6 to 7 weeks? It makes zero sense why that would even be allowed. And so I don't think it's ever happened in the history of this country, to be honest with you. And it's just bizarre. So I think it kind of threw things off. I don't think it's gonna really anything's gonna happen, but of course, like I was saying, when my buddy that we do crypto with, he was asking me, and I said, "Well, just think if anyone shot a missile into this country, you'd be like, yeah, you're about to get nuked." Of course, you're gonna tell them that. You're not gonna push the button immediately, but if they continue to do it, you might think about it. So obviously, they changed their clauses or whatever, and yeah, of course you're going to protect yourself. And again, Putin's not a dumb guy. He's probably the richest man in the world. And I'm not kidding. He is apparently the richest man in the world. And you don't stay alive over there and stay that wealthy if you're not pretty smart. So the guy's not dumb, obviously. He knows how things work. He knows Biden's not running the show. He knows what's happening. So yeah, he's got to protect his people and his land as well, and hopefully it doesn't escalate. But again, who the hell is okay in that right now? I mean, it's just the most bizarre thing you've ever heard of, and it just shows you what politics do. They don't give a shit. They'd rather start World War III because Trump won than just have our country at peace and try to do well and everybody get along. They're like, nah, let's let Ukraine shoot a U.S. missile right into Russia and stir things up real quick so that it fucks things up. Like, who thinks like this? I mean, it's the most bizarre mindset ever to think like that, but that's what politics do. And honestly, it's probably a really good thing that they're going to just clean house. And he's bringing in people that aren't politicians. It's kind of great. I love the idea, to be honest with you, because I'm not a politician. Give me a job. I'll run that shit right. You know that. I don't mess around. And like I tell you, is my sister isn't going to work there because I don't care if my family's not getting jobs just because they're my family. I picked the best person for the job, and that's it. There's no questions about it. So I don't care. I'm going to run it the best way it should be run. And that's what you need. You can't have these politicians that just get handouts. And it's just crazy in a bizarre world we live in. So there you go. It's kind of throwing the market off. I'm not gonna lie. And yeah, whoever okayed that, I just am curious, like who set that all up and said it was okay. And I think at this day and age, we all know Biden didn't make that decision or that call. So who was doing this to our country? And it's just crazy. So there you go. Just a little insight to what's going on because you can clearly see it. And I just kind of point out what's happening to you guys. So let's roll through these charts again. But yeah, I could just tell immediately today things were off. And then when I saw that, I posted about it and said, that's why the market's probably off. And it definitely was. And of course it's going to shake things up. I mean, obviously it's and again, I just don't get it. But here we go. SVMH again, just in that perfect spot. I mean, it wanted to fly today, guys. And then for whatever reason, it just couldn't do it. So it almost looked like a bunch of them did, and the whole market opened up red, like I said. And then obviously the Mag 7 kind of switched over, which was good, but they weren't like flying. But obviously they did turn to green. NMHI, let's look at that nature's miracle because that's another one was down a penny and it was set up really nice. And now it curled down. It was making that base. And since it couldn't get moving, that 20 is right there at 11 cents. And this was at 8 or 9 this morning. It opened at 10. It was right there. And now it's at 8 cents. So this one wanted to get moving. I'll have to look at this in the morning, NMHI. And again, you could just tell that the market was shook up and things weren't moving the way they should. And so yeah, I'll just take a look at that one in the morning, NMHI, and see if it wants to get cruising. It ran up the other day a couple times, but it was getting set up again and just kind of crawled right through coming down. Doesn't mean it can't make that hard curl going back up because we see it often and they could easily do it. Again, they're just reacting and they just got shook today. And I understand. You can see why. So TRNR, that one dipped. We've been talking about it. And I said, actually, here you go. The gray earnings on there now. Remember I told you they didn't have the earnings thing? Now it's a gray one. So so you figure it's going to pop. It did split. We were looking at it. Remember on FinViz, I said that they didn't have the earnings. It's on there today. I actually noticed it and I just kind of forgot about it until I just looked at it. But yeah, November 14th. It's nice that they popped it on there. What day is today? 5 days later, they decided to tell us. And again, I didn't realize that they had the earnings until I saw it on Stock Twits after we were talking about it and I posted about it, I think. And it obviously pulled back. You know my philosophy on earnings, so you know I wouldn't have mentioned it. I would have said, well, let's wait for that earnings, and then we would have known it bottomed out and popped up today, and it would have been perfect. But I think it might keep that momentum. It still looks great. It's curled up and it kind of opened and closed right around the same price. Let me see what it did in the after hours. It this one, see, it's the prices are different because of the pre-market stuff, but this one mine says 275 to 532 and then it closed at 353, which is about where this one says it is, 369. And yeah, it looks really good on mine. So I like the way this looks for tomorrow. TRNR. I would keep an eye on it, and it has a lot of room to move. It just split and has one of them gray earnings. So all of them mixed together usually means a good thing. The 20 is way up at $8 and we're at 394. And just the other day, right before the earnings, it was at that 551 and even the day before that like 598. So it was up there right near $6 and before that it was well over 6, 8, like $10. So TRNR, interactive strength. We looked at it before and it just split. So these are obviously the post split numbers and it does look good. So keep an eye on it because that could be a big runner right there. APLD, let's look at Applied Digital Corporation. We were looking at it and somebody bought a stake in it. I forget who it was, but who the heck was that yesterday? I can't even remember. I don't even see it on here. Where is that thing? I forget who it was. Didn't someone get involved in this company and it shot up. We kind of knew it was curling up and going up. So it looks like it wants to continue its way up there. So when it hits that top, we'll have to look at it. And it's almost off the chart there, APLD. So just keep an eye on that. But it does look like it has some solid momentum in the morning. And you can keep an eye for it to run up. I'd say around 950 might be where it's going to hit that top area. Again, it's almost off the chart and it looks like it wants to go up there and then it'll kind of reset up. I dragged mine down. I can see it on there, but yeah, it kind of just fizzles out. I mean, I can make it any price if I want, but yeah, the chart technically kind of ended right there, and it does want to shoot up, and it is bullish APLD. So watch for some momentum on that one to shoot back up some more. EFSH, that 1847 holdings was down 3 cents, and this one's been in a great spot. It's curling up. I think tomorrow you're going to see a little pop. Today was probably a dip and rip situation. It got down to 41. It's back to 45, and it's right there where it's about to cross through, and it's got that big old fish hook. It's really, really nice right there. So keep an eye on that EFSH because that one's looking good for tomorrow. And Laptop Travel likes that too. So keep an eye on that bad boy. And there you go with EFSH. And I'll hit all the messages in a few minutes. Let's just run through a bunch of these. And speaking of run, let's look at it, RUN, and see what Sunrun's going to do because it looked pretty good. Someone mentioned it today, and I looked at it and I was like, wow, that's starting to set up. It's dragging that bottom floor right there, but it's curling up really good. And you know it'll bounce around a little bit as it does. Curl up, so just watch for it. I don't know if that the bottom was probably November 12th at that 922 and we're at 971. So you can find a figure down there if you see it at all. That was your bottom as it curls up and Sunrun's going to start setting up the run. So check out RUN as it sets up because it's way down there and Sunrun is a solar company And I'm pretty sure this thing was like way up there before. I'm looking back there and it's like $40. I remember it being almost 100 at some point, 85 way back here. And I'm talking this could have been 2, 3 years ago. I traded this thing a while back. I remember it flew. It was a great profit runner. I just remember it was a long time ago. So but yeah, it's and when I say a long time ago, it was a few years ago, and I've had a brain injury since then, so it seems like it was like a decade ago. It probably wasn't. It was probably like 4 or 5 years, if it was even that. But again, I just remember it being way up there at almost like $100, and you're looking at it at 971, and it's getting set up to run. And solar is probably going to be taken off. I would assume. And so there you go. That's going to be a good one when solar is moving sun run. And that's RUN right there. And SYRS was a beauty. I don't know why we weren't looking at that yesterday because I mean, we knew it dipped way down and it set up and started running up today. And it looks like it wants to kind of curl out of that basement. We'll take a look at it tomorrow just to make sure, but it's curling up. And I mean, you have a ton of run the room back there. What was it at? It was in the threes, right? Remember we ran it from like the lower twos up to the high threes. I remember I sold the option the day before it dipped down hard. I remember that. Um, and that day that it dipped was on November 13th, and on the 12th it started to get really red looking. It opened at 338 and it got down. I actually sold it the day before that, I remember, because I remember saying, well, it got up a little bit higher, but it has that look like it wants to come back. I didn't think it was going to jump off the cliff. It went from the top to the basement. And but it's going to be a great one, that SYRS, and we were all over this bad boy before. And this is that company, isn't this? This is the company that had the insider trading, the insider buying, if I remember correctly. Yeah, on September 12th. So I wonder if them guys ever got out of it because if not, they got smoked. They would have had to probably announced that they were doing it, and I don't see anything that they sold it. So remember, all the CFO and them guys were buying this thing, and if that's the case, they got crushed on it. So they're gonna hope that that bad boy gets back up because they bought like hundreds of thousands of shares. Let me look real quick. I just saw it. Here you go. Insider buying. The CFO Jason Haas acquired 100,000 shares, and this was in like the $3. I forget, was it in the dollar range? I'll look on September 12th. And the president and CEO acquired a bunch of it. And on September 12th, I'm just curious now, the price was at $1.99 to 2.10, and its low is $1.78, and you're looking at it at 27 cents. Them guys got crushed. Can you imagine that day it dipped down the other day? They must have been crying. And again, that's kind of why the options are amazing because it forced me to sell. I had that expiration. It was way in the money, and boom, that was perfect. And then it came crashing down. So almost like the options kind of know. It's wild. SNSE, this one's being talked about online, Sensei Biotherapeutics, and we looked at it last night and it didn't look bad. It just kind of got pulled back a little bit. You might see a little more pullback. It started to try to set up at the end of the day. I know I posted about it, SNSE, and again, it's that my chart looks really good and the FinViz one kind of looks like it's pulling back. I was looking at it on mine at the in the after hours. It got to what, 53? Where's this at? 49. And I'm telling you, it started to look really good. That's why I posted that it started to look better. I was looking at it right then and there on mine and it was curled up. And then I went back afterwards and looked at it on FinViz and was like, wow, that's a totally different look. So I'm gonna trust my trend spider and say that it looks great. So there you go. I'm gonna go with the trend spider and say that it's on the money and it looks great for tomorrow to try to get moving. So take a look at that SNSE and also the SYRS. Look at that thing because it's setting up and wants to get curled up and moving there. So that one's a good one to look at. And WBA, I had some great action feedback on the stock twits people were arguing with me that it wasn't going to go bankrupt. I said I wouldn't be surprised if it went bankrupt, and they were telling me that what are the fundamentals, and I said that was when I knew that you don't know what you're talking about if you're asking me about fundamentals, because we all know on this show. Fundamentals mean absolutely nothing. I mean, look at big lots and multiple companies. You can just tell, but I can look at it for 3 seconds and tell you. The company's not in good shape. I can tell you that. I've been saying it, and it's been pulling back since we've been saying it. It only had that one little run up, and it's been bad shape. And if they don't get it turned around, they could definitely be in trouble for bankruptcy. It doesn't matter if you're at an $8 stock. That doesn't mean that your company can still run the company. I mean, companies that have evaluations of hundreds of dollars go bankrupt. That doesn't, and their stock price is at $100 or more. That doesn't mean a company can't go bankrupt. It just means that, it was a high evaluated company and they just mismanaged or whatever the circumstances are. And again, I explained this with these pharmaceutical companies like Walgreens and Rite Aid. We talked about that one right before it really went under and went pink sheeted. And and yeah, like Rite Aid and these companies, these big pharmaceuticals, they have these huge stores like everywhere. Your cost is just astronomical right now. Your overhead is just ridiculous. So they have most of the store is filled with shit that people just don't even buy on a regular basis, and you got to be turning stuff over. So basically, their pharmacy makes money, and then like some of the candy at the front, and you run in to get like some and cosmetics and stuff. But I mean, they have an entire store. You can go shop in there, and people just don't do it because really it's not a valuable store to shop at. It's kind of expensive, so you wouldn't do it. And yeah, it's just taking a beating, and you can just tell the business model used to be great when real estate didn't cost an arm and a leg. But these places don't own these properties. They kind of rent them all the time. They don't necessarily buy them themselves. So yeah, they have a ton of real estate all over the country that's just tripling in rent fees that they have to somehow try to make that up. And people got to understand the logistics of how businesses operate instead of just wondering about the fundamentals. Because again, I don't even look at the sheets at all. I could care less about the numbers. And you guys see what we can do with just looking at the stock charts. But again, it's kind of putting in perspective the actual business models, knowing the economy, knowing how things operate, and just knowing what's going on by looking at the chart. And you kind of factor all them things in together, and I can tell you that the company's not in good shape. Then they recently sold off a bunch of stuff, right? Like the day after I said it, they were selling stuff off. They had to pay $100 million settlement over deceptive pricing on generic drugs the other day. I mean, you're talking a ton of stuff that's not good for them. And yeah, I'm not saying they're going bankrupt tomorrow, but we keep an eye on it. And every time I say it's not looking good, and it's still not looking good, it's trying to build a base down here, and we'll see. It might even get into the basement. And so we'll keep an eye, and they just are giving out their dividends. What, today or yesterday they gave out dividends, and then it's still kind of making a base, but again, it could dip down even further. So that's WBA and that's Walgreens. And again, it's possible they could go in bankruptcy. I'm not saying tomorrow, but if they don't get it together pretty soon. And again, it's a hard business model right now to kind of make profitable, and that's what people do not understand. How much money does the pharmacy really make for them? I mean, you might as well just get rid of the rest of the store, just rent a store a third of the size, even less, like a quarter of the size. Just have the damn pharmacy and like a picture thing, and then that's where you make your money, and you can cut out all the other overhead, and maybe it would be profitable. But who the hell knows? Because people get their pharmaceutical drugs online at the supermarkets now, Walmart, everywhere. And so these places that used to have that monopoly on that, don't necessarily have it right now. And chances are, when you go into one of these, they probably don't even have the prescription you're looking for, and you have to go to another place because it happens all the time. So again, just not the best business model in today's day and age. And we'll keep an eye on it. I'll call it out if they're going to go bankrupt. I'll definitely call that out before they announce it. If we're looking at it, and I'll keep an eye on it for that Walgreens. But yeah, it could pull back some more. We'll see when it hits this bottom right here what it wants to do. But that is Walgreens. And again, I just look at the chart and kind of factor in the logistics of life real quick, and you can kind of tell. And I think the people that listen to the show, I've been saying it for well over a month, probably 2 months, and look where the price has gone. And you just see it. I mean, it's not hard at all. So yeah, it's not setting up bullish. Let's say that. And there you go with WBA Walgreens. And again, I'm not shorting the company. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's going to drop down through the roof, and it doesn't necessarily have to go bankrupt. Again, they don't have to go to zero. They can't afford to pay their bills and stuff. The stock's at $8 and they can file for bankruptcy. So I think people have the wrong idea that, oh yeah, it's at 8.29 right now. There's no way you can go bankrupt. That doesn't mean anything. And quite frankly, their sheets don't really mean a whole lot either. The numbers, um, look how many companies get the numbers wrong all the time. Look at SMCI. I mean, we don't even know what's going on in that company, so you don't know about the numbers. My buddy's like a forensic accountant. He's audited like every major company you can imagine. Believe me, the numbers aren't even close to what you think they should be and what they have written a lot of times, and they don't get in trouble, and they know what they can get away with and what they can't. And yeah, they can fudge numbers in a certain way where it's not illegal, but it's like, oh, we miscalculated this or that. So again, you can't go by the fundamentals. We go by technicals all the time, and we nail everything. So let's roll through the list. But yeah, that was just an interesting one when I posted that tonight, and I had a few people on StockTwits arguing, and I was just like, I'm not arguing. I'm just telling you what we see, and trust me, if they're going to announce bankruptcy, I'll let you know. So there you go. And LMFA, this one looks good. LMF funding. I think a lot of these credit services and financial ones are looking good. We might have to go through that sector and see what it's up to because it's not looking bad. This is trying to curl up. It's down there, but it is trying to get curled up. It's an interesting look right there. And if it does try to move, which it looks like it is on mine, and again, the FinViz has just been way behind, it seems like lately. I don't know what's going on. And that's why, like, you hear me say, it might be doing this. And then I look at mine. I just trust my the Trend Spider charts, much better than the FinViz at this point because the prices have been way more accurate and the chart is way more accurate, I feel like. So if you hear me say, well, it looks like this, and then I change my mind, that's all you're seeing me do. And again, I post all the videos so you can see me doing it live and or you can see me doing it. I'm actually this weekend, if you guys see me hop on, I think I might try out the YouTube live and something else I was gonna try out. I forget what the hell it was. Rumble. I was gonna give Rumble a shot and see what that's up to. And try to do the live feed. So anyone wants to actually watch the live feed, I'll do it on here and do a live feed video as well. So I want to try to get that all figured out. And I think that might be awesome. And then I don't have to worry about editing them and uploading them. They can just be there. And that takes a lot less time for me because it does. You just got to wait for it to download. And it doesn't even take me that long to edit the thing. To be honest, it's more or less downloading and uploading, and then I walk away from it. And my brain, I come back and then I get looking at charts, and I don't even remember I did the video. And then yeah, like I didn't even post the pre-market. It's already done, and I could upload it right now while I'm on here, but I won't. But I'm just saying, like I just completely forget, and it sucks because it's you guys could be watching them and actually see it. So I'll get that figured out. I definitely want to. I think it'll be a big help too, to be able to fly through live or even go back and see it right away, because again, I don't have to edit it, upload it, and all that bull crap. And so yeah, I'll get that figured out as well. But here we go. Let's get rolling and we'll fly through this list because we got quite a list here. LMFA, like I said, it looks great on my chart, and I was just kind of saying that the two charts look a little different. So, and they've been looking a lot different. I actually, if you look at the videos, I used to have stock charts up. I don't even have that up. I just have the FinViz and my Trend Spider, and just go back and forth. The stock charts really just looked exactly like FinViz, and I didn't even really need to look at them anymore. I used to look at the three of them, and honestly, I just kind of eliminated that one. And again, the Trend Spider is just on fire. It's really good. So, and you can just do so much with that platform. Um, Again, I built my own charts and scanners, and I think obviously we'll get way more into the scanners too. Like I said, I want to get the live videos figured out because I'm like, that stuff's taking up way too much time, just editing videos and downloading them and doing that kind of thing. I'd rather just be focused on really getting the trading, and I've been doing that too. But again, it's just I want to pick out the best ones for the best returns for that day, the most profitable ones, and really just start nailing them down, really just taking these ETFs and tearing them apart. So we'll really get into it solid. And like I said, I think I can explain options well enough that you guys could explain it. So I definitely want to do that as well, and put a video together. That way you guys can actually watch it and play it back and kind of see what's going on. And I'll just kind of tell you exactly what I do. And like I said, I made it as simple as I could, and just made this little method that I have, and it's been working out great. I know that. So I'll tell you what I'm up to. And anybody else that does do options and wants to explain what they do, feel free to hit me up, and I'll have yous on, and you guys can explain your experience and what you do. And again, I'm not a financial guy, so I just tell you my experience and what I find that works and doesn't work. I always tell you what doesn't work because that's important too. So there you go. DXYZ flying back up today. I was actually surprised to see this one. I mean, we thought it was going to probably roll off, but it rolled off hard, and this thing's going up higher than its high before, $50. It's at 45. It did pull back a little in the after hours. Now I'm looking at the FinViz. Let me look at mine and see, but it did look pretty good. A little bit of pullback there. I think it's still going to be pretty solid tomorrow. And again, the FinViz looks like it wants to go flying. Mine looks like it wants to pull back. They're almost in like opposites every single time now. So it's uh it's kind of annoying but frustrating, but it is what it is, and we work right through it. That's why it's been taking me a little longer on some of them too. I go back and forth, you'll see, and look at it, and I'm like, huh, what's going on here? Because the charts are just looking weird. And again, they could just be still transitioning into like actually getting back to normal. And I wouldn't be surprised if they take like a month or two to do it, because they were jacked up for a couple years. So it's not like one of them things they can just do it overnight, like flip a switch. And again, I was saying it 2, 3 weeks before the election that they were trying to do it, and you can still see them doing it, but they are running more smoothly now. You can see them a lot easier than you ever could before, the last few years. So that's better. But yeah, they're just, like I said, the two charts are just been off a little bit. So it just kind of throws me for a loop. VKTX. Now this bad boy, Viking Therapeutics, we called that bottom because it kept dipping down and it hit that bottom right there. And we said, watch that for that bounce. And it sure did today. It went up quite a bit. It started running up in the market, and then in the after hours, VKTX. So that one started to pop up. It got up to what, $55, over 55. It's at 54 right now, and it opened at 48.99. And that was Laptop Travel's beauty right there. And yeah, you can watch this one. It's gonna curl up there and start moving. So keep an eye on that VKTX, because that's gonna want to start moving and curling up. So that one looks good. And oh yeah, the DXYZ, that's going to be like a momentum play. It's on fire, I'm telling you. TNXP, that one's getting moving. I believe that's an XTX confidential one that he was talking about the other day. And again, it just kind of got caught up in the wrong days, and it was pulling back. And then today it just kind of rolled right off there. It didn't want to hit that bottom. It bottomed out yesterday. I mean, it didn't want to cross through and go and get back into the basement, and it had to pop off, and it sure did. It jumped up from like 16 to 23. It might even went even higher than that. 28. Yeah, it says 13 to 28 on mine, and it's at 24. So watch for this thing in the morning to keep some momentum. But we just looked at that one literally the other day, and I know STX Confidential was asking about it, and he was probably I was kind of surprised it didn't pop off yesterday, because I think he asked about it on Sunday night or Monday, or yesterday was Monday. I know it was just recent in the last few days, and I was kind of surprised that it took that long. And there it went, it popped off today. And that HAO, that one's starting to move as well, and that's looking good. Ran up from like 22 to 27, and it still looks pretty solid, I would say 24 to 27, somewhere in that range. And little pullback there, it's at 23 right now. And again, they kind of show two different things, but yeah, it should continue to move up, is what it looks like. It just pulled back to that 20 right there, and it looks pretty solid, I would say. So I would keep an eye on that HAO to continue to move. And AZI, this one was running up today as well, and we knew it was crawling up, and it looks like it wants to continue up. Let me see in the after hours here, AZI, and it just went a little flat. I did look at it on mine right when the market closed, just to see, and it still looked decent. It has a little flat look, but nothing real bad right there. I'll look at this in the morning as well, just to make sure it wants to continue going up. And it has some resistance up there in like the 320s, and you're in the 230s right now. So this one could continue its way up there. It looks like it should. And I'll look at it tomorrow morning just to make sure. How about that NCNC? Another one, no co. And I know we talked about this one because the name was crazy. And it did pop up on October 22nd. It ran from like 10 to 31. And then this morning it went a little nutty. It gapped up to 23, because yesterday it closed at 9 cents, and then it opened at 23, got up to about 32, and it's sitting at 16 right now. And that's NCNC. It was definitely on a laptop travel list, I know for sure. And it got right up to the top right there. No co. And yeah, just another one. This one popped well over 100% today and ran up. I think it's going to be pulling back because it has that look like it's topped up there, and it's going to hit it hit the top, and it's going to pull back. It didn't get into the up into the top. It just hit that line, and I don't think it's going to bust through. And then PRFX, pain reform. We just looked at this bad boy, and this one went way up, well over 100% too. It's up 161% right now. And this one, let's see, PFRX, let's see what it did. This one, oh, what is it? It's PR. Yeah, I gotta type it in right first. Hold on, let me type it in. PRFX. Here we go. And this one went from 58 to 192, and it's at 106 right now. So yeah, this one ran up a lot as well, and well over 100%. And this one, take a look at in the morning, because it's up at the top, and it could be a little momentum play up there. So I think it might stay up there if the way it looks right now. It did pull back in the after hours, but it don't look too bad. So keep an eye on that PRFX for a little momentum in the morning. And then SOAR, that one did soar over 100% as well. And let's see what that one did today. That went from 31 to 76, and it's at 42 right now. So soar did soar, and I was saying it was kind of soar, and it did. And that was another one on Laptop Travels list. Had a 667 million in volume there for soar. So that's an airport and air service company, the Lotto Group, and it did soar. And it might be, it's hard to tell. It poked its head into the top, into the very top there, and it's hard to tell if it wants to keep going up tomorrow. I'd have to look at it in the morning, but that one definitely soared. And there you go with them 300 percenters today that we were definitely way early on. And how about that DBGI? Let's look at digital brands, because this started to move at the end of the day. It started to curl up, and it is looking good. It moved up 4 cents in the after hours, and it's looking pretty solid again. I would say look at that tomorrow because that wants to run. DBGI looks really good right there. So keep an eye tomorrow on that bad boy. And BTCT, this one ran up again. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised. It came out of the base, out of the top, I mean, and it bounced right back up in there. So I'm actually impressed, but it is a China crazy one, and it's got some crypto or some cryptocurrency tied to it. And yeah, they had signed the Bitcoin miner equipment and some other stuff. So they do something like that, Bitcoin mining, and yeah, it's popped up into the top. Honestly, it should be a momentum play in the morning because it wants to run up in that top, it looks like. So take a look at that BTCT in the morning because that could be a nice little runner. And how about ABVE? Above food ingredients. I know Laptop Travel loved this one, and we've been looking at it, and it flew up some more today. It's been going up the last few days, and it went from 56 to 68, and it's sitting at 62. So, and still looks pretty solid. And we were looking at this bad boy way down here in like the 30s. So, this one flew up and still looks like it wants to continue to move and have momentum. So, that's ABVE. It went right over that 50 and it looks good. And honestly, it looks like even if it pulls back that 50 and 20 will meet up and pop it off again pretty soon. So let's look at NDRA because that was up 54 cents. We had just looked at this bad boy after it split and it made a base, and now it's going to start curling up. So keep an eye on NDRA because this one's starting to cruise. It went from 415 to 534. It's sitting at 490 right now. It started to move at the end of the day there for the most part. It was moving up, but it really got moving. And I think you're going to want to keep an eye on that bad boy as well, NDRA. And that's another one we looked at for a while, caught some poppers on it, and like I said, it looks like it's curling right off of there. It looks like it's going to make that hard curl up tomorrow. Keep an eye on it to curl back up going through, and it should be moving. CETX, let's look at this bad boy. It did move up, I thought, in the after hours. I thought I saw it on the stock twits, as a matter of fact, but on here, let me just look at it on mine. CETX. 21 cents. Yeah, I thought so. It opened at 17, it got up to 21 and it started to crawl. It looks really good. I was gonna say, what am I looking at? I'm telling you the FinViz is just like completely off anymore. It hasn't been this off and now it's like really bad. I don't know what the heck's going on. So I kind of almost am sticking just to the trend spider at this point and see if FinViz gets better because it is just not what it should be, honestly. And it is the elite. Like I said, it is definitely the FinViz elite. It's the paid one. It's supposed to be the aftermarket prices and everything, and it's just way off. For example, it says 17 and a half right here, and I knew it was up because I saw it on Stock Twits, and they're pretty accurate as well. And it's at 21. And plus, I looked at the chart. I believe OV Grows is is in this one as well. So I've been watching it. I have it on my one list sitting right here, and I've been looking at it each day just to see if it was going to pull back or start to set up and run. And it is starting to set up and run. So I think OV Grows will be happy about that. And yeah, so I was just like, what the heck? And again, I'm just looking at it and it says it's at 17 and a half cents, and it's just off. I'm telling you. So it kind of throws my eyes off because I even knew, and I'm like, wait a second, that doesn't look right. And so yeah, that's why I've been hesitant, I guess, on some of them because when I look at it, it just looks weird, and then I go to mine, and it looks really weird because they look totally different. But I am sticking with the like I said, the trend spider seems to be on point right here. So, like I said, CETX should be at 21 cents, not 17 and a half, like Finviz says, and it should be curling up and looking really good, is what it looked like at the end of the day to me, and what I saw. Like I said, according to stock twits and according to the trend spider. So there you go with CETX OV grows. I think it's looking pretty solid. I'll look at it in the morning for you as well. And Nubaru at BURU up 5 cents. Another one that we've looked at for a while. And this one's curling up. Just let it get right up over that 20 at like right where it's at. It literally has to just bump up a little bit and it should do it tomorrow. BURU. And it should get moving. Now let me look on mine. Yeah, they're both looking solid. So keep an eye on that Nubaru, BURU. It's looking good. And again, that CETX is setting up right there, looking solid as well. And ITRM, this one is setting up again, guys. It's rolling back up. I meant to put it on the list last night because I remember I noticed it yesterday. I've been keeping an eye on it, and I forget it did set up really bullish, and it was kind of pulling back there for a couple days on the 14th, and then just sitting right on that line, but it's popped up and it's going to get moving. So keep an eye on this. And even it's at 152. It's going to run up to the 180s, but even after that, it's going to set up even more bullish after that and get running. So ITRM should be pretty solid. And I would think tomorrow it's pretty much going to be moving, I would have to assume. So keep an eye on that ITRM. And that thing, I know they had some kind of drug news out. I forget what the heck they had going on, but it was pretty good. And oh yeah, UTI treatment or something like that. They had FDA approval or something like that, a urinary tract thing. And yeah, it is looking good, ITRM. So we will keep an eye on that as well. It should be moving. And how about Holo if I type it in right? HOLO. Micro cloud hologram. Let's see what that holo is doing. I think it's just bottomed out right here. Today was probably its bottom. The 20's coming down at 290. It's at 232, and it should start to get set up and crawl back up. And again, we'll just ride it up one more time and then we'll leave holo alone because we played it like textbook like 5 or 6 times. It's been crazy. But again, we'll do it one more time. It is trying to bottom out right there today. 215 was probably its low. We'll confirm it tomorrow, and it should be trying to roll up there and curl up. So keep an eye on Holo right there because it's not looking bad. And VCIG, let me take a peek at that one. It recently split and it's been down in the basement. We're curling up here, and it's looking pretty good as well. Let me just look at mine. VCIG curled up looking good, 156 to 174. It's at 159. So keep your eye on that bad boy in the morning. If it tries to curl out of that basement, it's going to get moving. So that's VCIG and your 20s right there, 280. This is at 156. It could get right up to that and even move past it. So keep an eye on that bad boy. And it did recently split and it looks like it wants to set up. Maybe it doesn't do it tomorrow, but it's setting up to get moving relatively soon. And how about the yin and the yang? The yin was down 82 cents today, just like we were saying. It popped up yesterday, like we were saying the night before. I was saying it looked good. And like I explained yesterday, they just can't make this thing move real fast or you'll crash the economy over in China. I don't think they're looking to do that at this moment. So they're actually kind of smart. They're not throwing missiles in places that they shouldn't be like we are. And they're like, you know what? We our economy is a little rough. Let's not ruffle the feathers like the and let's just let the things work its way out. And that's exactly what they're doing here. And you can tell the China economy is just not doing great, just like Walgreens. I don't need to look at the numbers, and I just need to look at the yin and the yang, basically. But anyway, um, yeah, the yin should continue to come down, and the yang will look at it, and the yang should continue to go up. It's curling back up. I'll look at it on mine. I don't even really need to be honest, but I looked at them today, and yeah, the yang looks good to try to continue up, and the yin should continue to go down a little bit. And again, they just can't crash these things up or down one way or the other. Remember that yin ran up like crazy and it went wild. So now they got to kind of balance things out. But you also have your 20 and your 50 going to meet up on your yang, and it's going to shoot this thing up. And I mean, the 20's up at like 90. It's going to get up there, but when they meet, it's going to get back over like into the 100. Remember, it did reverse split. So the numbers are obviously post split numbers, but yeah, it's going to get cruising back up there. So that's your yin and your yang and remember this thing post pre-split, well, post-split, like say it was at 180 before they ran that yin all the way up, and this thing came way down, and now it's in the 70s. It's going to get back into that like 100 area, like the 120, 140 area. And again, you're in the 78 area. So that's what it looks like is going to happen. And then it'll come crashing back down and then do its thing like normal. But they did. They pumped a bunch of money. I forget they had like a stimulus package or they did something. And you can just see it right there on the chart right there. And we call that one out pretty perfectly. So that's your yin and your yang report. FFIE is looking pretty interesting. Like I said, it's in the basement. I'm just keeping an eye to see if it wants to make a crazy run, and it could be rolling off. And today could have been its bottom right there, FFIE. And I'll take another 8,000% run on it. I might not sell it most of it at 2,000 this time, and then I won't, and it'll go down at 2,000%. But it's all good. You guys all know that thing ran over 8,000% in 10 days. FFIE, it was wild. And like I said, I sold most of my position at 2,000% to watch it go up another 6,000%. Had a little more still left in it. It was nice, but I said, damn, I wish I had that whole position at 8,000 per plus percent because that's crazy. I've never seen anything like it in my life. And so that was FFIE. But let's see if it wants to do it again because that would be really cool. Um, it's just kind of looks like it's almost making a bottom down there. So I'll keep an eye on it. And yeah, it went. Here, I'll tell you what it went from. Oh, it did. This one split too, but it went from like 4 cents to almost $4 in 10 days. FFIE, if you remember that. It was pretty crazy back in May. And there you go. So I'll watch that tomorrow and see if that wants to get set up for us. TWG, let's take a look at it because this one's getting set up and curling up right there. It was up a little higher yesterday, I think. What was its high? 31 cent. Yeah, just a hair. But it's getting ready to rock and roll, guys. So keep your eye on this TWG because it's ready to roll. It's curling up there and it is going to get moving. So I would say keep an eye on that bad boy because that bad boy is getting cruising. And that GDHG, I didn't even notice, but Laptop Travel told me that thing took a nice dip today. I didn't even see that bad boy, but it went down 25%, down 51 cents. And I'm not sure what happened, but this might be a great one, really great one to watch. It was setting up there. It looked like it wanted to try to get over that 20 to curl it back up, but it definitely had other plans today and came right back down to that bottom line there. And we're going to have to see. I think it's going to try to roll off. It could be a really nice dip and rip situation. Opened at 171. It got up to 184 and then came pulling back to 146. It's at 158 right now. So we'll see what it wants to do in the morning. I'll keep an eye on that bad boy, GDHG. And the China companies are crazy. I'm telling you, they can run up real fast, they can run down real fast. But that one was sitting right there. Looked like it wanted to jump up and start moving, but it had other plans, and now maybe it probably wants to bounce off that bottom. Someone probably wanted it and wanted it really cheap over there, and they probably just got it and they're gonna make a fortune off of it. So watch for that thing to try to bounce. Because I've seen them dip and rip like this and they go wild. So, and then all of a sudden somebody bought it like millions of shares down at this bottom at like 146. They run it up tomorrow to like 268 and they sell it off perfectly. It's amazing. And it only happens on the China stocks, I'm telling you. Um, and some deli that was around me, and the people went to jail. But anyway, they're the only company, they're the only ones that you see that with. And but yeah, you see that with the China stock sometimes. That's why I look at them and they get crazy. ICCT, this one was setting up and starting to move. It was up over 5%, another three in the after hours. We were looking at it, had it asterisk, and it's looking good. So keep an eye on it. It still looks pretty solid. It has to get back over that 20 cents. It's at 18. If it gets back over that 20, it's going to be moving. So just watch for it to get over that 20 cents and it can get cruising again. BNRG is Bren Miller. Energy. I was looking at it today. It was down a penny just because it has a really interesting setup right there. It's getting ready to rock and roll and it pulled back a little bit, not much, but I'm just waiting for this bad boy to what the heck? Be NRG. Okay, here it is. And yeah, I was just waiting for it. I think it's trying to just make a base down here. And again, it could make a little dip and rip situation. So just watch for that. And if it does pull back, it's going to be that dip and rip because it's setting up to get moving. And they have been doing the old dip and rip. So you got to kind of watch for it right now. True Golf, TRUG, that was down 4 cents. And I was surprised this one didn't get out of the basement right there. It was ready to do it, and today just did not help it out. It hit that line and just kind of went kaput. It just went down. I mean, it just didn't help it at all. The 20's at 57 cents, and it was going to jump right up to it. You could see it, and it just kind of, like I said, fell back down. My chart in the after hours looks a little better at 47 cents. So watch this thing tomorrow to try to rebound itself right back up. TURG. Again, today just wasn't a solid day for a lot of them, but I would take a look at this thing in the morning, TRUG, and see if it's trying to get through there. Because if it is, it's going to move. And ALE is up 9 cents. And I'm telling you, this thing's about to get cruising, guys. It looks real good. I don't know what they have going on, but it looks like it's pretty solid to try to run up here. And let me just take a look on mine, ALE. Mine looks, oh, wait, I was going to say that can't even be the same company. There's no way. All right. Yeah, that's a little better. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to curl back up there on mine. I'll look at it tomorrow. I would also watch for a dip and rip situation on this bad boy. ALE, it's gone up the last few days, and take a look at it tomorrow is probably a critical day. So I'll definitely take a look at that one, and we'll see what's happening with it tomorrow. And it's right there to get set up. So just look at that bad boy in the morning. CEs came down a little bit, and again, they're gonna come down as they have that big fish hook. They're going to dip down lower than the price they were the day before. We already know it. It happens all the time still. And it ran what 72.51 to 73.41, came back down. It's at 72.20 right now. And you can play this thing. It's going to be bouncing around as it curls up. It still has a few days and it will get cruising. So just watch for them bottoms on that bad boy. Today could have been its bottom actually at 71.45. So that could be its bottom right there as it's curling up. We'll keep an eye on it tomorrow and confirm that. RGF, let's look at that bad boy. Real good food company took a nice little pullback, nothing crazy, like 3%, and it was down further the other day. I think we said its bottom was in that 24 cent area. It didn't get that low today. It got down to what, 25, and it's hitting that bottom, and I have a feeling it's going to try to bounce off. RGF, another one that was setting up looking really good, and the last few days just didn't help it out at all. And I think you're going to have a little bounce play on that. So keep an eye on that for a little bounce. WTO, this one was up a little bit today, and I'm telling you, this thing is trying to get set up. You just got to look for these dip and rip situations though, because all the 20's are coming down for them, and you just can't. They're either popping up, running up to it, or it's pushing them down for a dip and rip. And they're not all as clear as you'd like them to be. I'm not gonna lie. So this one's like right there as well. You just need it. It's, I mean, the 20's at 38 cents. We're at 33, 34 cents. It's right there. And this thing looks like it wants to try to curl up and get moving. So I've been telling you, keep your eye on that WTO. And if it does get up over that 34 cent area, or here, right here, is it 40? Probably more like 40 cent it needs to get to. And or even 38, and it can get moving. So look for it to jump up a little bit, and it's right there, like 4 more cents, and it can get cruising right there. EJH, let's look at that bad boy. That one's pulling back. I thought it was making a base, and today it kind of pulled back a little bit more. We know that its bottom was there on November 6th at like 72 cents. It still didn't get that low. It's at 75, it's low, and it could pull back down there again. So I'm going to look at this. I think it's going to roll off that MACD and get rolling pretty soon. And this week is kind of just like almost a little setup week. So it does kind of look like that's going to be its bottom today. and we will confirm that. So, and then next week's going to be a crazy one because it's a short week for a holiday, and things can get wild. So, and again, these things are going to be setting up. You just have some pullback. You have that escalation happening with Russia and Ukraine, and things just got kind of thrown off a little bit. Nothing real crazy that I see. So, Boil, BOIL, we knew this was going up. It's up almost 2%, up 82 cents. It's the ETF, and it was looking good. Watch for it to hit that 45.99 area and see what it wants to do right there. But that is Boil. And let's look at Cold, KOLD. That was down. And look for that to hit that $60 area and maybe try to bounce back up. We'll have to see what it wants to do. So that is your Boil and your Cold report for this evening. And Boil is still warm and Cold is still cold. So let's see what else we want to look at next is DKNG and Penn. Just go in like some pairs. That would be fun. Just pair a bunch of them up and go to town. Um, have like a uh um tournament and we just go right through like 150 of them in a tournament style. That'd be wild. Might have to do that during March Madness. It would be pretty fun. DraftKings, let's look at it. DKNG, it was up 86 cents. It's getting cruising, guys. I think it's going to be bouncing up here. Watch for it to get up over that 43.60 area. It's at 43.17. It's right there. And didn't quite get up that high, but just watch for it to get up there and it could get really moving so just keep an eye on it. It looks like it wants to. And again, it doesn't have to jump up just a tiny bit more and it's going to get moving. Say 43.70 if you want to. And it's at about 43.17 area. And yeah, this thing looks like it wants to get up into the top and run. And let's look at Penn Entertainment. This one, remember we were talking about it back here. I don't know if we saw it when it bottomed out on November 5th at 18.29. It's back in the 20s. I do remember us looking at it in the $19 area for sure and saying it was going to get set up. It ran up a little bit and then it pulled back. And I remember it did run up over 21.75. It's at 20.41. And this bad boy wants to roll off and get cruising, I think. So keep an eye on that Penn, PENN, because it does look like it wants to roll off and get flying right there. And let's look at GXAI. This thing was up 5 cents and trying to curl back up. I mean, they all have this crazy look. It looks like yesterday was its bottom, but you can't really tell exactly. And then today it kind of wanted to bounce back up. So if this one wants to, it's going to try to make that hard curl up tomorrow and get cruising back up. I don't know why it dipped so hard. It ran up on the 14th, got up to 249, and then it pulled back in that channel. It was fine, but yesterday it really pulled back, and I'm not sure why it did. And maybe it's going to pop right back up there. So we'll keep an eye on this bad boy, GXAI, and that TTOO. Let's see how it finished up. It was down 2 cents. It was down like a penny today. Had them gray earnings, and it was looking good yesterday. I'm telling you, that bottom should be 44 cents right there. It's at 49, and it just has this weird look like it wants to get moving and it just can't. I don't know what's going on with it. So keep an eye on it because it does want to move. It just can't. I have no idea why. Your 20 is not far off either. That's at like 79 cents. This is at 49, but I'm telling you, it has all these weird looks down here. I'm telling you, this thing's going to do something. It's ready to do something. You can just see it. And I'm not exactly sure. They just had their gray earnings, so I would imagine it's going to try to pop off there. And that's what it kind of looks like to me, to be honest with you. Even my chart looks like a little healthy pullback, but looks pretty good. So keep an eye on that TTOO and LGHL Lion Group. I was surprised when I didn't see this like really running today. It looks great. It didn't do bad. It ran up a little bit. It opened at 19. That was its low, and it got up to like 0.1997 or something. And so it was up LGHL, but not as much as I thought it was going to want to move. And just keep an eye on it because it is trying to look good. A little bit of pullback there on mine. and it said it opened at 20, got down to 19. Again, these things are just so different. It's so crazy. I don't know what the heck. I don't even understand it, but I look at mine, a little healthy pullback, but I still think it's going to roll off there and get cruising again. So the line is setting up, I believe, and we'll keep an eye on that line. XPON, up 13 cents there and building that base down there. Oh, this one's about to try to roll off too. I bet this is going to get moving, guys. Why can't I type? XPON. Yeah, this one looks like it wants to start rolling off of there. I would keep an eye on that tomorrow. It looks really good, I would say. All it needs is a decent market condition and it's going to roll off XPON. So keep an eye on that one. And let's look at that DPRO. It's Canadian Aerospace and Defense Dragonfly. And it was down 7 cents, but up 11 in the after hours. And this thing is just in the right spot. We know where its bottom was. It was on the 15th at like 205. We're at 255. And again, it just looks really good to get moving. My chart had a little healthy pullback, nothing too crazy. It got over there, but it literally has to get to like 253 and it's at 244 right now. So get up there and it'll get moving again. So DPRO, that's going to pop off pretty soon, I would say. So look for that one that's setting up. EDTK, let's look at that bad boy. Skillful Craftsman Education Technology in China. I remember we just looked at this and it just ran up today, it looks like, or did something. Let me see. That is the 19th, so that is today. It went from like 109 to 112. Let me look. EDTK on mine. EDTK. Here we go. 109 to 112, back to 101. It's at 104 now. And it does I mean, it looks like it's trying to run, it's setting up. I think it's just gonna jump around right there as that 20 and 50 meet up and this all meets up. So this one could have a few days, but it could be really, really good right there. So I'll keep an eye on that one, EDTK. And let's look at that NRXP down 7 cents. Just a little pullback there. It was trying to roll off, didn't go through or anything. Let me take a look. NRXP. And it opened at 111 up to 132 and it closed at 125. So yeah, it didn't look too bad. You look at the other one, it looks like a totally different world. And it says 130 to 113, 123. Yeah, it's just so crazy. I mean, it says it opened at 130. Mine says it opened at 111. The highs are the same at 132. That's the only thing that's pretty good. The lows are close at 113, 111. And then this closed at 125 and this says 123. But yeah, I don't know where they open them at. And then it just makes them look way different when the prices are off like that. So it's just bizarre. But anyway, let's look at this bad boy NRXP. And it doesn't look too bad. It looks like it was trying to run up there, just kind of pull back, but not even. So yeah, I would keep an eye on this. I know it's been setting up right there. And another one just, I mean, get the 125, 129 area and it's going to move. It's at 123. So not looking bad right there. Let's look at BABA. And that's like the Amazon in China, I think, or something like that. I never know how to say it. Alibaba. I don't even know how to say this company's name, to be honest with you. And it's going to hit the bottom. I would say this is going to be a good play. It just had its earnings on the 15th, which was on Friday, and it did pull back. Is that today's date? Yeah, it is. Um, yeah, I would say this is going to be a pretty good one, guys. I would be looking at options. I'll check this out. On mine, it doesn't say it's exactly bottomed, but on Finviz, it looks like it, and it kind of looks like it is. I'll look at it tomorrow, and if it's bottomed out down here, this one will probably do really well. It's down at 87. It'll get back up into like the 90s with no problem, like 95 area with no problem. So this one would run up pretty well. So I'll look at that tomorrow, BABA, and see what it wants to do. DXCM. This one came down. It was looking weird and like it wanted to continue to run up. Now it's pulling back. DXCM. And yeah, I think that one might have topped out yesterday and might have to pull back. So keep an eye on it, see if it pulls back into the 72 area. And that was that Dexcom one. We looked at that. And let's look at Lucid LCID. This one was down 4 cents, but this one's setting up really well too. And I know the bottom was on November 15th at 193. It's at 209, so look for any dips and your 20's coming down. It's not far off at 226. And again, we're at 209 in the after hours. And LCID is looking good. It ran up a little yesterday, just a little healthy pullback today. Nothing crazy there. So keep an eye on that. UGL is that gold one. Ultra gold 2 timeshares up $1.65. This thing's gonna get cruising, guys. So keep your eye on this bad boy. It's looking great right there. Might even want to look at options. It's an ETF and it looks good. And again, the gold is looking nice. I have to break that sector down and check that out and pull up all the good ones for there. And there you go. I know Nug and Dust NUGT is up $1.94, looking great. This is the gold, the bull gold miners one, and Dust is the bear one down 261 and coming out of the top and pulling down there. So that is your gold report for this evening as well. And again, gold looks like it's going to be popping off, so you might want to check them bad boys out. ATAI, look at this guy because it's up 6 cents. It looks like it wants to get up in the top tomorrow. Let me take a look in the after hours. ATAI. It's like two different worlds. 181 to 183, and it's back to 175. I'm telling you, it's like looking two different planets here. The numbers are kind of similar, but not even, and the charts are just completely different looking. It's wild. But anyway, let me take a look at it. It looks like it might be topping out there, and I'd have to look at it tomorrow. It looks like it might bounce off that top and actually come down, is what it looks like to me. I'd have to confirm it. Octo. Let's look at that OCTO. Octo is coming down to that line right there at that 149. It's at about 155, and it is not looking bad for a bounce off of that. So I think it's going to look good for a bounce off of there. You might a little patience on Octo is probably going to pay off. I would look for a bounce play on that and look for it to start setting up. So keep an eye on OCTO because that's not looking bad. And INM, let's see that. It was up 11 cents. That one has some gray earnings and a split right there. It's split and its gray earnings were on the 15th on Friday. It looks like it's trying to curl up there. Has a weird look too. I don't know what's up with this weird look on a bunch of them. Let's see what it did. This is the 19th, 420 to 526 and down the 383. It's at 402. I mean, is it the same one I'm looking at? I mean, this is crazy. 434 to 456 down the 402 at 435. This says it's at 402. I mean, it's just so wild that they're so far apart, these charts. And I'm like, I don't know what it wants to do because I don't even know what it's doing. So yeah, INM. I'll look at this in the morning as well because I really can't. I'm just looking around. I can't get a good idea. It looks like it's trying to pull back a little bit, but I just can't tell because it looks like it's set up. I just have no idea. It could be setting up right there. I'll look at it tomorrow and try. I'll pull it up on some different charts too, and see what it looks like when it's running. QUBT. That way I can know what the price is for sure. QUBT is trying to crawl back up. We looked at this from Luis Rodriguez. He called this one as it was popping up there, and I think it might be trying to run back up. So keep your eye on that QUBT for another momentum play because it does look like it wants to do it. And let's look at Rum real quick, and I believe that's Rumble. I was talking about that earlier, and it is up 14 cents. I know that I think they're involved with DJT as well. I'm not exactly sure what they do, but anyway, RUM Rumble looks like it's kind of basing out. Yesterday could have been its bottom down there at 555. You're back at 588 right here. RUM, and it looks really solid. I'd say on mine, it looks like it's going to run up there. So keep an eye on that rum. I know it gets moving when DJT does, and we'll obviously go over that in a little bit. GOVX, let's take a peek. It's just pulling back a little bit, but making a base. I'll tell you what, that one could get cruising tomorrow. GOVX. Uh, yeah, that 20 and 50 are meeting up right here, and it does. It just has a little healthy pullback look for that GeoVax Labs. We can check that out as well. It don't look bad. QLGN up 22 cents. And we were talking about this starting to move. It looked like yesterday was its bottom, and that is getting curled up and trying to rock and roll. So keep an eye on that QLGN. And we were definitely looking at it. 402 came down. On top. There's this two different worlds here, 360 to 390, down to 351 at 386. 402 to 350, close at 371. It still looks good, but I mean, it just looks like two different charts I'm looking at, and it's the same damn day. I just don't understand that. Anyway, I trust my trend spider, and it is still setting up. Both of them still look good to set up. They just look weird. And but QLGN, I would say you're getting curled up right there and going to be moving. So keep an eye on that bad boy. TOVX, that one ran up not long ago, had its earnings. I don't know if that's ready. It looks like, I mean, it would have to make that hard curl back up. Not saying it's impossible, but I'm just not sure it's ready yet. So I'd have to look at that in the morning just to see if it is ready. ASRT, I know we looked at this down here the other day and we were like, yeah, that bottom's probably to 78. Yesterday it was moving a little bit, and today it's curling up to get cruising. So keep your eye on this ASRT because this one is popping up there, getting curled through. It's at 97 cents there and setting up really nice. So I'm not sure what they have going on. But it looks pretty decent right there. ASRT. So keep an eye on that one. That one is moving on some momentum right there. An HOVR. Yeah, HOVR. New Horizon aircraft. Oh, this one looks really good, guys. Up 7 cents and down a little bit. What is it? HOVR. Yeah, take a look at this one. HOVR, that looks real good to try to move tomorrow. MDJH, let's see that one. MDJH. I know we looked at it. It's way down there, ran up last week, and now it's crossing up. I think you're going to have a solid one here. I think Scott was looking at this one, MDJH, and I think you're going to be happy because that one should get moving. I'll put an asterisk next to that. And SOBR, let's look at sober. SOBR safe, and it is getting cruising. That one looks great on mine. Let me see if it looks any different here. SOBR. And that one looks really good too. So I would say you're solid on that one to get moving tomorrow. SOBR looks real good. And how about that Hall of Fame one? HOFV, is it? HOFV. Here we go. Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company. And that one's in the basement right there. Maybe yesterday and today where it's bottoms and it's going to start moving up. I have to look at that tomorrow just to confirm it. But yeah, it does look like it wants to start cruising. And it had a nice dip yesterday. 122 to 81. It's at 85 right now. It's way down there. So we have to keep an eye on that one and just watch for a little bounce play, but we'll keep an eye on that. And KITT isn't a aerospace and defense one. I know that. Let me click on that. And that came into the basement. It crawled up 19 cents in the after hours, had that gray earnings. I'm not sure what that even means yet still. But yesterday was its bottom at 84 cents. It's back to 110 right now. KITT. I would keep an eye on this tomorrow. It says 95 to 125. It's at 116 and it looks really good. 91 to 95 and it low 91 and that's where I mean you want to talk about way off and this says 110, that says 16. I mean they're just so far apart. It's crazy right here. But KITT looks really good to curl up there and keep moving. So keep an eye on that. CEVA, let's take a look at CEVA. Siva Inc. That's a semiconductor company, and it was rolling up there. I think this one's going to get cruising a little higher. CEVA. So take a look at this because it looks like that one's rolling up to curl higher too. And that is CEVA. And let's look at Hoth. We looked at this one before, HOTH, and it was up 2 cents. It's sitting in a pretty decent spot right there. It doesn't say it's ready just yet. Let me take a look at mine. And maybe it's already ready and it did it. 72 to 120. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This one says it opened at 81. Its high was 82. Its low is 78, and it closed at 81, but then it went up to 111 in the after hours. And then this one says 72 to 123. Its low is 72, and it closed at 112. I mean, they're pretty close on that close, but yeah, it just doesn't show anything that it even moved. It's just bizarre. So I guess it ran up in the after hours. So we'll have to look at it because in the after hours it went up over 55%. So we'll have to look at Hoth. And it was just like sitting there curling up. I was just gonna say it doesn't look that great. It'll have to make that hard curl, but it made that hard curl. And there you go. So yeah, that one got cruising up there. Had to get up onto the 82 cent area, and I'm guessing that's where it popped off of because again, you can't really even tell. The charts are all wacky. So, but it did pop HOTH. So we'll have to look at that. Possibly a momentum play in the morning, but it's up. DRMA, we had looked at this before, and yesterday was its bottom right there at 105. It's at 109. So watch for DRMA to start moving back up again, slowly but surely. That's going to start curling back up. Clue, CLEU. Let's look at it. This one's gonna try to. It's been stair stepping its way down, and it looks like that bottom was yesterday and the day before at 20 cent. It's at 21. And CLEU, that's a China company. I know that, and it's curling up to be good. So keep an eye on this one as well, because that could get popping. Its 20 is up here at 23, and you're at 21. It didn't look too far off. So that's setting up right there. And AEHL, let's look at that bad boy, that Antelope Enterprises. It never wanted to get out of the basement there. It looked like it was trying to the other day, and it pulled back in there and it came back down. I still don't think it's going to get lower than that 23 cents. Today was 24 and a half. Pulling back, we'll have to look at it tomorrow and see if it wants to pull back anymore. So it could want to roll off of there. It's a hard one to tell at the moment, but yeah, it doesn't look like it wants to pull back that hard uh right now, just maybe a little bit and then try to roll back up. But that one's been in the basement for a while here. AEHL, that Antelope Enterprise, and XPEV. This one was down 49 cents today and curled back down. It was up when it first opened, 317. It got up to 319, back down to like 11 something, 1191 at 1262. Let me see on mine. And yeah, that one looks like it's just pulling back there. So I would say XPEV might have to dip down a hair and maybe it's coming back down here to 10. I don't know. Maybe there to 1150s. It's hard to tell, to be honest with you. 1168, I'd watch for it there first and see what it wants to do at that point. And that's XPEV. And unless it tries to make that hard curl up tomorrow, it's going to be bullish, but it just doesn't look like it wants to do it tomorrow, at least not at the moment anyway. APLM, Apollo mix. This one ran up like crazy yesterday, got up to the top, started pulling back. Looked like it. Nah, it didn't look like it could be a momentum play because it just ran up way too much too fast. And then today it has that weird look, APLM. And let's see what it wants to do here. Probably pull back a little bit is what it looks like. It could pull back to the 13 cents. It's at like 15 in the after hours and get set back up possibly. So that is APLM. And there you go. Let me run through the messages real quick, see what we got. Laptop travels. We'll see our crypto, our big caps, and there we go. Our list just keeps growing and growing and growing, and I love it. Everybody just keeps throwing them at us, and I love it. So there we go. Just takes a little longer, but here we are. Let me look at our messages and see what we missed. Here we go. Let me see. Trump Media and Technology, the DJT and Rumble operate alternative social media platforms and are tethered to the big companies. So DJT owns the Truth Social, an X platform that was launched in early 2022. Rum promotes its streaming video platform as an alternative to YouTube. So yeah, Rumble's actually a pretty good one. I know a lot of big social media people use it, and apparently it's really good. I'm gonna check it out. A few people have told me to check it out, and you can do the live feeds, and they post right up on different platforms for you pretty easy. So I am definitely gonna be looking into that. Here we go. XPON. Let's see. I forget what I even said about it. XPON. What did I say? It was up 13 cents. Yeah, that one looks good to roll off. I'm telling you, that one's going to try to get cruising right there. I think XPON. I'm just looking at it again. Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to start rolling off there, looking good. That GDHG ding dong s secured investment of what 25.2 million and enters into amendments to outstanding warrants. Is that what they did? GDHG. So that's why that bounced down or dipped down right there. Um Secures invested, yeah, 25.2 million enters into the, yep, I see that now. I didn't even scroll down, but that's why they took a big dip. Thank you, Ding Dong. And let's see. Oh, here you go. I was talking about how the China stocks go crazy, and then this deli in New Jersey, and laptop. I'm telling you, it's the craziest story ever. Laptop Travel actually has it right here. I'll repost it. You guys can see it. I'm gonna click on it, and it says man pleads guilty in a stock fraud case involving $100 million New Jersey deli. Um, it's the greatest story ever. I'm telling you, it's so wild. The guy was like a superintendent for a high school and had part ownership in it. I just have to read and tell you what happened. It's just the craziest thing ever. Um, Here's the story. So, and I don't even know how this all happened because the people were involved were in North Carolina, but it says a North Carolina ex-convict pleaded guilty to securities fraud in connection with conspiring to manipulate the stock of a company that once had a market capitalization of as high as 100 million despite owning just one small money losing deli in southern New Jersey. And I'm telling you, this little tiny deli it didn't even make like $30,000 a year. It was like a part-time little deli, like this tiny little hole in the wall. And they ran the valuation up to $100 million. It was the craziest shit ever. So anyway, this disgraced former stockbroker James Patton also admitted on Wednesday in a court in the federal court to conspiring with two other men to manipulate the share price of another related shell company which had no tangible assets. That company's market cap was even higher than the Hometown International Deli. So yeah, they took a shell company, I believe in China or something, and they ran the evaluation up on that and were selling it at the very top. It was crazy. The dudes made like crazy money. So then the prosecutor said that Patton, 64, and the other defendants conspired over 8 years to increase the stock price of this Hometown International and the shell company, E-Waste, that's what it was, to create false impression of demand for the firm's shares and better position them as candidates for so-called reverse mergers with privately owned companies. I mean, you're talking like the craziest scheme ever. I won't read the whole thing. I've sent it out. But yeah, they took a little deli that made $30,000 tops a year and made the valuation $100 million. It was over $100 million. Like we woke up one day and this deli was all over the news, and it's not too far from me. I mean, I know the area, and yeah, it was just crazy. And like I said, I'm pretty sure the owner of the deli was the superintendent of all the like a high school and like other schools, obviously. But yeah, it was wild. And you don't see a New Jersey deli have the valuation of $100 million. We had a deli in our town growing up, and it was incredible. And it actually, and this will just here's a nice business story for you. Great deli. My whole life made like the best hoagies ever. The owners were the best people. I mean, just great, great business people. Had the same people probably work there for like 25 plus years. And you're talking a deli. Place was packed all the time. They always won like the best hoagies and sandwiches in basically our whole area. And people still talk about it. But anyway, long story short, this guy that owns some Domino's pizzas around here, it done pretty well with Domino's. He decided to buy that deli and a bakery that made like bread. Probably one of the best ones in the area. He bought this thing and just destroyed both of these businesses. I mean, they are terrible. No one in our area goes to them anymore. And I mean, you're talking about two staples growing up that were just the most amazing places. They're less than a mile apart from each other. And this dude went in and destroyed both companies. I mean, he bought them out, so he had the right to do whatever he wanted. He bought them, but yeah, you just want to talk about bad business. I don't know how the guy, he must have a lot of Domino's money, Domino's pizza money, because there is no way that he's making money on these businesses now. Um, Literally the one deli place, it was like a place that made rolls and bread. On holidays, I'm not even exaggerating, they had to have a cop outside to direct traffic for about 4 hours on a holiday morning because it was that crazy. Now you can just walk in and walk out on a holiday, no one even cares. And that's a big difference, trust me. I used to know the old owner, and the guy was amazing. He was such a nice guy, big boxing fan, actually went to some boxing matches with him. And yeah, he was a great guy and had just a great business. And he sold it. I mean, rightfully so. He was an older guy and wanted to retire. I don't blame him. And yeah, it's just a shame when someone buys a business and just makes it destroy it like that, especially when you have a name like that and a reputation, and then it just gets destroyed. This guy destroyed two of them. So yeah, maybe Domino's pizzas are profitable, I guess, but that doesn't mean you're a good business person. And I'm telling you, he's got to be eating these things in his pocket right now because no one goes to him anymore. It's just, it's like the talk of everywhere around here that no one goes. So anyway, there you go, a little business story and a nice. We have a ton of delis in my area, delis and pizza shops. My town literally has like 10. I'm not even exaggerating. I'll go low ball. I'll say we have 8 pizza shops. We probably have more, and every single place is awesome. Like I'm blessed to live in an area where we have amazing food around here. It's crazy, all the good places, sandwich shops and stuff like that. It's wild. I mean, pizza places, and yeah, you can get great food. So I'm very blessed with that, and it's like all within a stone's throw away practically. So that's always cool, but again, just some great stories, and that Dowie story, it goes down in history as like one of the greatest stories. I remember waking up, and I obviously follow the market, so I saw that, and people had no idea what I was talking about, and I was telling people, and then all of a sudden it became on the news, like a major news story around here, and everyone was like, "How the hell did you even know that was happening?" And I'm like, "Clearly, you know why I knew, but yeah, it was just a huge story." But anyway, let's roll back there. But that is the greatest Dowie story ever, right there. So. Anyway, let me crush through these messages real quick. And thank you, Laptop Travel, for pulling up that story because it is funny. And it's not funny that people get manipulated, but it's just crazy that someone thought they were going to make a deli worth $100 million. The place doesn't make $30,000 a year. It's going to be valuated at 100 million plus. It's just amazing. So, yeah, just unbelievable. CETX, I'm telling you, that one looks good. I've been watching that one for OV grows, like I said, and that one looks good. Here we go. Let me look real quick. I have a New York accent. I'm right from Jersey, actually. So, yeah, I'm right outside Philadelphia. I definitely have a hardcore Northeast accent. I know that. And yeah, I'm from Jersey. Everyone likes when I say nice. My buddies Cavino and Rich, they'll impersonate me. If anyone's a listener, they know who I am. And yeah, they love my accent. And and whenever I travel anywhere, it's like as soon as I start talking, people just look at me like, wow, I know I have a very heavy accent. So, but yeah, I'm from Jersey. New York's a little bit different, to be honest with you. It's definitely a little different. And so yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm outside Philadelphia in Jersey, and that's where I live. So There you go, like there, and boom. Let's see, QMMM. Let's see, deleted. Let's see what that looks like. Well, QMMM. That is QMMM Holdings, and that's the that one's going to be a great one to look at right there. That one could be a nice bouncer. Pull back real hard yesterday, 554 down to 156, and then today we're getting down in the 94 cent area. Close, it's at 117 now. Let me write that one down, QMMM, because that one's going to be a good bouncer right there for that with that big dip. And let's see what else is happening here. SYRS, the insiders sold early in late October, so Laptop Travel did look at that. I was wondering. Usually, I mean, not every time. It's not going to tell you on FinViz the what the insider trading is. It just happened to say it that day, and like I said, the chart jumped out like something was happening. Them guys definitely knew, obviously, and yeah, they sold before it went crashing down because if they didn't, they would have gotten crushed because they'd bought a lot of shares. You would have basically seen like $100,000 disappear real quick. So they obviously sold it. Thank you, Laptop Travel. Norbert, let's see, GDXD. Let's look at these bad boys real quick. We'll fly through them. GDXD. Let's see. Pulling back a little bit. That one's pulling back. I think it's going to have to come back into the 12s possibly. Let me just look on mine, even though they're so different. Yeah, that one looks like it's going to pull back to that 20 and then set back up right there. GDXD. And that's the gold miners leveraged ETN right there. So it's just kind of pulling back. Um, yeah, let it pull back here and we'll see what it wants to do, if it's going to cross down or roll back up. And I'll take a look at it. That one looks like it could go either way when it hits there. So I'll take a look at that one. And let's see, CELH. Let's see what that one's up to. Celia's holding. That one looks good. That's going to curl back up. That bottom was probably in yesterday right there. CELH. And yeah, it's jumping up today. 2583 to 2744. I would say that's looking good. And keep that on your radar tomorrow. CELH, Celius Holdings, looking nice right there. And AZN, let's see. Let's see. This one's curling up too. Yeah, this one's a great one. This is what that AstraZeneca and that drug maker, and they all took a dip when RFK was announced the other day, and now they're bouncing up. This one looks great, guys. AZN, you might want to keep an eye on that bad boy as well. That one's looking real good right there. The Yang we did, like I said, it's going to be going back up, and they're just kind of stair stepping them. They can't just jump these things way too fast. I was just talking about that a little bit ago. So yeah, the Yang's going to continue slow to go up, but it's not going to just jump like crazy. And Coca-Cola KO, that's about to have a knockout punch and go back up. That bottom was in at 61.39. It's back up at 62.63. And I think I'm definitely going to be looking at Coca-Cola. There you go. That one's a great one. Want to bring that to our attention. I like that. Let me see. Yeah, I'd say Coca-Cola is about to get rolling, guys. So keep an eye on that. That's looking really good right there. So thank you for them, Norbert. APLD money, that's applied. That was looking pretty good. We went over it. Let me see. I forget what I said. It's a momentum play. It was like coming off the charts, right? Going off the charts. Watch for it at that 973, and then it's going to hit that top on APLD. Nvidia, that's who bought the stake in it. Nvidia bought stake in APLD. Oh, you were just answering my question. Thank you. I was talking about that when we went on, and I said somebody just bought stake in there. That was Nvidia bought something. And like I said, it looks like it's going to run up to that top tomorrow, like 970, and then we'll have to look at it. Thank you, deleted. Good stuff. Appreciate it. IYEN. Or what am I talking about? I am nuts. EYEN. That's hilarious. Reading the name of it, and EYEN. Let's look at it. It's called Inovia. That one's looking really good to start trying to curl back up. Let me see it on mine and see what it did here in the after hours. Yeah, I think that bottom's probably in yesterday, like 9 cents. It's at 13 right now. Watch for this thing to start curling up. That one's going to be a great one. Took a huge dip from like 43 cents the other day. I'm going to write that bad boy down too. EYEN. Yeah, that one looks really good right there. Ding dong. I like that. That's going to set up for sure. Um, Here we go. Uh, People like George. Yeah, when it comes, I was talking about the weapons and everything earlier, so I'll just read what Laptop Travel was saying because I didn't go through it when we were talking about it. But when it comes to weapons, the U.S. gives them to a country to use as they see fit and necessary. Leahy law prevents the U.S. from providing weapons or funds for military assistance to groups when there is a credible information indicating the groups have violated human rights. Yeah. And so yeah, we don't provide them to like over to Russia and China and countries like that, but they don't even, I mean, they're pretty much our enemies unless Trump gets in and he knows how to deal with these guys. And again, you don't have to be buddy buddy with them, but you definitely want to know what's going on. You want to be able to pick up a phone and be like, yo, let's squash this problem before we have to send missiles across the countries and the world and be blowing people up because that's not the way to really handle it, but that's how things get handled. And when you have a bunch of maniacs, and again, they do it because it's very profitable. Wars are super profitable. So look at what goes on and who owns the companies. Just follow the money trails. Trump's not involved in war companies like the Bushes were and other people were that get us in the wars. And Trump's into real estate. You don't really want to be blowing up his property. So you got to kind of look at it like that. And he doesn't want to have a war. It's not, it doesn't benefit him. It doesn't benefit the country. Yeah, it's profitable for certain companies, but it's not profitable for a country to be losing soldiers and just have that morale of being in a war. So it's totally different mindsets. But again, um, it's just a crooked world we live in. So just crazy stuff. And Ding Dong was saying people like George Soros and others in the White House are making the calls. Of course, they hate Trump enough to have people killed. Funny how COVID started before the 2020 election. I went through this Ding Dong before. I had no idea. I never realized that if you look back at the timeline, the Trump impeachment, they tried to impeach Trump that one time and they didn't go through, they couldn't go through with it. And about 2 to 3 weeks later is when COVID rolled out. Look back at the times because I looked it up and I didn't remember any of that. I mean, people just forget. Our news and everything moves so fast today that I mean, and I have a brain injury, so I don't remember much, but everything, everybody just, you forget things. I mean, it just moves so fast. You turn on your phone and it's like 3 days went by in the news. It's crazy. So you tend to forget what happened, but yeah, that did happen, and I agree 100%. There's definitely people making them calls. It obviously wasn't Biden. He was over in the Amazon, like just like cruising around the Amazon, getting lost. So how was he picking up a phone? I don't even know how good of a reception you have in the Amazon. Was he really picking up a phone, going, "Yo, Zelensky, go ahead and fire some missiles into Russia"? Sounds like a great idea. While I'm standing in the Amazon. I mean, like, does anyone look at this shit? It's crazy what goes on. So yeah, you're absolutely right, and it was politically motivated. And again, they don't want Trump to succeed. Instead of just saying, "Hey, the guy won. People want it to be that way. Obviously, it was a landslide. Let's all just get behind them and try to make this country great." Instead, you didn't want to be like, "Yeah, Ukraine, why don't you shoot one of our missiles into Russia and stir things up a little bit?" Like, who thinks like that? It's just bizarre. So anyway, I really hope there's peace sooner than later too, Johnny Five, because it's crazy. Bruce Love, how are you? And boom, there you go. And let's go through what a day, Luis Rodriguez. It was a great day. It's been great days every day lately, I have to say. Let me just finish up right here with what you guys sent in, and then I'll fly through our crypto big caps and our laptop travels because they're all getting set up right there and looking good. So AERA. AREB. Let's look at that one real quick. AREB, American Rebel Holdings. And that one's going to get set up. It looks like it wants to pull itself back up, and yesterday was its bottom. I'd have to definitely look at it tomorrow, but it doesn't look bad. I'm going to say it's going to try to pull itself back up. It crossed down over that MACD line, but ever so slightly. And they do like to pull themselves back up and get cruising there. So that doesn't look bad right there. Supreet and Fun will go over when I bust through that list right there. Lemonade, LMND. I was looking at this today, as a matter of fact. Actually, I've been looking at it for a little while. I've had it for a little while, as a matter of fact. So lemonade is all the way at the top at $40 up here. It's run quite a bit. I never put it on the list, and I don't know why, but in October it looked really good on October 9th. It was in the $15 area, and it looked like it wanted to pop up there, and it did. And I got rid of it, and it was just a trade. And then all of a sudden it started setting up on Halloween, like right there on Halloween. And I was like, oh, I'll just, throw a little into it and see what happens. And yeah, it just kept going up. It never really stopped. It was building the base. And then today it really shot in the top. I kind of feel like it's topping out now. I almost got rid of it, to be honest with you, on November 11th. And I was like, wow, that one's in the top there. It's going to be pulling back. And it started to, but it didn't dip real hard and never looked like it was coming out of the top. And I was like, oh, this thing's getting crazy. So, yeah, I had a little bit, not a whole lot of shares. I just kind of was experimenting with that one as well. And that one was just a good little popper right there. Lemonade, LMND. It might keep its momentum in the morning, but it's way up there, so you got to be careful. I could have given that one out way down there. And again, I see a few of them here and there. I just forget to write them down on the list, and yeah, I'm just trading and doing other things during the day. And if I don't write it down, forget about it. I'm not remembering. Unfortunately, before it would have been no issue, but yeah, I apologize. I didn't give you guys the lemonade. We looked at it before, I remember, and it had run up a little bit. And that's how it was on my list, to be honest with you. And and then yeah, it got really good. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I remember saying this lemonade's looking good. It ran up a little bit, and then I remember it caught my eye. And you could just tell it was bouncing off that line right there, and it did. So that's Lemonade, LMND. So yeah, Luis Rodriguez, it probably will run up tomorrow. It looks pretty strong, but be really careful because it's been way up there for a while. And I honestly was surprised. And I'm not gonna lie, on that one day that I was gonna sell it on the 11th, I just was going to sell it and kind of got sidetracked and the day closed and I just went, oh shit. And it didn't really pull back that much. And it stayed up in the top the next day. And then it just kind of pulled back and it never looked bad. And I was like, let's see if it, and then it started crawling back up the last few days. And I was like, wow, well, last week it did. And then the last 2 days it did. So, yeah, I kind of got lucky. I'm not going to lie. I probably would have sold it definitely on that 11th, and I just kind of didn't pull the trigger. And again, I don't have a whole bunch of them. I just bought a few shares of it. And again, I was just kind of messing around, doing a couple different things and experimenting with some stuff. So, just seeing different poppers. I For me to paper trade, it's kind of hard. I mean, we look at this huge list, it's like paper trading to me. But if I really want to get into something and look at it, I kind of, and like I tell you, you can trade with $10, so you don't have to get crazy with them. And I like to experiment with different things and see if they're going to do it. So sometimes I'll just go small on some of them and you make a small little profit. It is what it is. Hey, guess what? Them little profits all add up. If you hit a bunch of them that are $50 profits here and there, they add up pretty quick because four of them's $200. So you don't always have to look at like a giant win all the time. And like I said, sometimes I'll experiment and play around a little bit and just know things are going to pop up, but don't want to get heavy into it. And this one just looked good. It ran way up more, ran way more than I thought it was going to. Let's put it that way. So again, kind of got lucky on it. And like I said, my profits aren't astronomical because I didn't have a bunch of shares. So anyway, there you go. And the only reason why I bought it was because again, I was playing around. It was a $15 stock. And if you go back and look, it was way up there. This thing was kind of high up there in the 20s and then pulled back, but it was way up there at one point and looked good. So there you go at Lemonade. And boom, that's another one that ran up. And yeah, I'm telling you, we just kind of see every one of them. And that was on the scanners. And again, we were looking at it, so it was on my list. I have a little list over here that I jot things down and I run through them each day just to see if we're gonna add some back or not. And yeah, and then sometimes I end up trading some of them during the day just because they're just about to move, and I try to post them and all that good stuff. So it's like a three-ring circus over here. It's crazy. But anyway, that's my lemonade story for you. And next time I'll try not to leave it off the list, especially if they're gonna run like that, because it did go nutty. But yeah, maybe a momentum play for you in the morning, and let's rock and roll through our big caps and everything else. I'll look at crypto real quick. I mean, not much that you really need to look at because it's just been going crazy. Um, Bitcoin was at 92,000. They're kind of red, like pulling back, except Bitcoin and the big ones are still kind of running up. It's kind of wild. And Bitcoin just still rolling up. It was in like the 93,000 area earlier. 94, I mean. Got over 94,000. Ethereum's back at 3,096. And it was kind of pulling, it's making a base over that 50. I mean it's hitting the line. I really don't think they're going to cross down. We'll have to see if they will. Solana's at 233 and it could just be a reaction again to all the stuff going on globally. It's pulling out of the 70. It did it the other day and then it ran right back in there. Cardano's at 76 and it's way up there building the base and again it's curling up into the 70. They stay up at the top forever. Doge is back at 38. This was at like 41 earlier. And another one. It's just kind of curling back down, but probably going to roll off. Just made room and it wants to run up even higher. Chainlink's at 1440. Let's just see what it's up to. Just a little pullback, but yeah, it still looks pretty good right there. And let's look at Sheeb real quick and see what that's up to. That one I thought was setting up pretty good earlier. And let's look. I think Sheeb's going to be rolling off tomorrow, and then I think Sheeb's going to have a really nice run. And I think somebody else said that they had a nice position in Sheeb and it hadn't run yet. I think you're about to see it get moving there. So I know like Doge and Bonk's been going wild, guys. And remember, I told you it was going to go bonkers. It's up another 10%. Things going bonkers completely. So yeah, Bonk went wild and it's still up in the 70 running back up there. So that one's crazy for sure. And WIF is at 325. What did that thing do? Came back even more. It was up a little bit earlier, I thought. And yeah, it's just pulling back. I'll have to look at it. It's probably going to roll off the MACD. It's just making a bunch of room there for that WIF. And that's Laptop Travel's wife likes that one. So let's take a look and see what our big caps and them guys are doing real quick, and then we'll do our laptop travel list because you know there's a ton of setups on there. And then we'll wrap it up. So here we go. Let's get cruising through these bad boys real quick. We can rock and roll through these fast. The Spy's up. It was up 215 to 590 today, and it looks like it wants to try to curl back up tomorrow and keep running. It did cross, and it's funny because they did cross through the MACD, but they're going up on the RSIs, and they look like they just want to stay up there. So I can't imagine it actually really pulling back hard. What it do? It came down to what 581, and it's at five. So yeah, I think it's going to be cruising tomorrow, guys. I think you're going to see a pretty green market. And that from according to the SPY, let's look at GameStop. That was going up $1.13. It was cruising. It looks like it wants to go a little higher tomorrow. So watch for this thing to try to roll up there and get moving a little bit more. And AMC was pulling back down 2 cents, up 2 cents. And I'm telling you, something is going on with this thing. It's hitting that line super, super hard. It has a weird, weird look. It opened and closed today at the same price, but again, it has a really weird look and it is setting up like crazy. I don't know what the heck's going on with AMC, but something's happening there. I'll scroll down. I don't see anything, but it just looks crazy. So keep an eye on it. Chewy, CHWY, up $1.09. That's curling back up, gonna rock and roll. And let's look at our Nvidia and our Mag 7 because Nvidia was up $6 going into earnings tomorrow. Does anyone know what time the earnings call is? I never looked. So if anyone knows, just let us know. I'll tell us. And I'm not sure if it's in the like in the afternoon or after hours. Um, I think Nvidia usually does theirs in the after hours. Oh, excuse me, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I think I'm trying to remember. I don't know. If somebody does know, let us know because it will make a difference because if it could run up and then react to the earnings. Obviously, if they're in the after hours, but it looks super bullish and wants to run up tomorrow is what it looks like here. And I don't really like the earnings looks, but this one looks like it wants to cruise. So let's look at the rest of them because Apple turned around. That went back up to 228 today. It was at like 229. I know that 230 even. And it looks like it wants to get cruising, guys. And I was telling you that before Apple was looking good. And it does. It looks like it wants to pop off some more. So keep an eye on Apple. And let's look at Google right here. GOOG. This one is about to fly, guys. So keep your eye on Google because it's about to make that hard curl up. They just set up pretty fast. I thought they were going to take a look like another day or so to set up, and they're getting moving. I guess with Nvidia's earnings is just cranking these bad boys up. So it looks like that's what's happening here. Google's getting rocking and rolling. Amazon, I mean, Nvidia might be like, yeah, we're working with every company in the Mag 7 with AI. And I mean, you don't even know what they're going to say tomorrow. It could be wild. So you have no idea. Amazon is going to get rocking and rolling again, just hitting that line. I think it just was making some room on the chart, and it's going to get cruising now that we're entering the holiday season, and it's a late holiday season. So, Amazon's going to be blasting off right around in the next week or so. It's going to get crazy, and packages are going to be getting delivered like maniacs. Meta's curling back up. That probably will hit its bottom yesterday and it should be looking good for tomorrow. I would assume, like I said, it looks like it's going to get curled up and moving. It's set up super bullish. It's going to get back up over like $600. They're at 560 right here. So all these bad boys look great. Microsoft up $2. Another one curling up, looking good, and should get cruising. Another one could make that hard curl up and just get flying. And Tesla. Of course, that one's looking good, up $7, and it just keeps rolling up to the top. It's at 346, and it just keeps on going. So, good old Tesla doesn't want to give up, and it just keeps going up. So, watch that one to continue. That Nike came down. I think we're actually hitting its bottom now. So, we'll watch that tomorrow, see if today was its bottom or if tomorrow will be and then that will be ready to rock and roll. I know Laptop Travel was asking me yesterday if it was bottomed out. I said, let it go back, let it go down today a little bit more, and we should be right there. And it looks like it is. So maybe a little more tomorrow, but it should be right about there. Rivian's at 1017, and this guy's setting up, guys. So it's been setting up, and now it's going to get rocking and rolling. That's going to drive up. PLTR. It was up $1.72. It came down a little bit. It's still running in that top, and I have no idea how. I would be really careful with this because it is going to come out of that top very soon. You can just see it. And but yeah, tomorrow could still be a momentum play on it, honestly. But be careful with it because it is up there and it's going to change courses soon. Sophie, the same thing, been running up. We knew it was curled up yet last night. It was running up. It did go up 1376 and it's at 1443 right now. And it looks like it might continue to go up. So SOFI does look pretty good to continue, but again, you have to be careful. These things are like running off the charts. It's so crazy that they're up there so much. And that's SOFI. Sophie Dell, this was down a little bit, but this is setting up as well. And I'll have to look at it tomorrow. Another one just made, I think these are all going to make them hard curl ups and they're just going to get rocking and rolling. And we kind of figured they were. I think they're setting up a little quicker than I thought they might. Snowflake is getting moving, guys. Snow, SNOW. and that thing's going to get flying. Remember, it had its earnings pulled back, and now you're going to get rocking and rolling with snow. So keep your eye on that one. All these looking good. AMD, I know that was looking good, up 46 cents. We were looking at it last night, and that's bottom was in Friday, and that's going to get cruising up there. So keep an eye on AMD because that's getting set up as well. And also QCOM up 22 cents. And this is about to get cruising and make a hard curl up there. So all these bad boys look great. And we knew that they were setting up to go cruising into that Thanksgiving week, just as I said about 3 months ago. So imagine that these charts can tell you that much stuff. PayPal's pulled back, but it looks like it's going to try to roll back off and get up there higher. So it's at 84.09. It's going to get back up over $85 and cruise again. That's PYPL. And let's see what SMCI is up to. It was up 673 today. I hope you guys are selling some options, keeping some options for more run. I hope he's bought as many options as you could possibly buy because it was up and they were beautiful right there. And I know them SMCXs were really crazy as well. SMCX was looking great. Them ones were up like $15 at 62%. They're crazy curling through and getting wild. So keep your eye on them because they're going to be looking even better. And yeah, SMCI, I think, is going to get cruising even higher. It looks real good to curl through. It was only down probably 2 cents in the after hours, if that. And 28.42. It opened at 29.65. Nothing crazy. Mine looks like a little bit of pullback hitting that 20 at that $30, 30.46 where it did. But yeah, I think we're going to keep on cruising. So I think SMCI should be pretty solid. I don't see why it wouldn't be. And like I said, I think the market should be pretty green with NVIDIA tomorrow. So with that in hand and SMCI having good news, they should be cruising, I would think. That's what it looks like to me anyway right now. INTC. Intel was down. Let it pull back and set up. It might come down to 23. Maybe it comes to the 22, but that's going to be set up and get running real soon too. And good old Disney's pulling back, but we kind of knew that. It might stay in the top, but again, I set it at 95 or 94, wherever. It was going over 100 and it went to 115. So we knew that bad boy was moving. Let it pull back and set up. Oxy pulling back, let that one set up too, because I'm telling you, this thing's going to be set up perfectly in about next week. Probably right around next week, it's going to get really good. Maybe the week after Thanksgiving. Same thing with ExxonMobil. Let it pull back and set up. Mara was pulling back before, and now it's starting to curl back up. And again, they made. I think they're making them hard curl up. So we'll keep an eye on it. But if crypto's starting to pull back, maybe Mara will pull back a little bit more down to this 50 at 17. We'll take a look at that in the morning and see exactly what MARA wants to do here. And that is Mara. And yeah, it's giving me a look like it wants to it wants to make that hard curl back up is what it looks like on my end. So we will take a look at that. And Riot, RIOT, same thing, got the exact same look. So that could go either way. And it looks like it wants to pull back up and go back up there. So MSTR. Good old MicroStrategy was up $45 today, and this thing just keeps running in the top. It's just crazy right there. So it is wild. Good old MicroStrategy. I hope you're buying options on that. And also on the MSTU, that is the long one, and that was way up there over $40. The ETF two times. If you had that, it was paying out like crazy. So that is your MicroStrategy, and I know our Luis Rodriguez was probably all over both of them. So there you go with them guys. CLSK. Clean Spark was up 74 cents, and this one looks like it's going to start rolling back up. So again, they were up at the top, pulled back, and they look like they're trying to run back up. And Coin, that was down 84 cents, but it ran way up, and it looks like it wants to try to get back into the top right there. Let me see. It does. I'll have to look at it tomorrow to confirm that, but but it has run up pretty well, and it's at 324 now. And let's look at DJT. It was down 291 today, and this thing is getting set up though. Just let it do its thing. It opened at 30, got up to 30.83, down to 29.10. It's sitting at 29.81, and I'm telling you, it's gonna get curled up, and DJT is gonna get cruising right here. So just let it get set up here in the next day or so, and it'll look much better. And here we go with our fun. It's down 25 cents and another one. Just let it. I think yesterday was probably its bottom at 408. It's back to 445. And PHUN, it will get pretty fun real soon. It's setting up again, just like DJT. And they had run up so high and so crazy that they needed to pull back, make some room so that they can go up higher. MTN, that mountain is pulling back Val, but setting up again just in that channel. Let it pull back. We knew it was running up, and then we'll catch the next run up on it. What's MCD doing? McDonald's is still down here, and I'm surprised it didn't get moving yet. Glad I never pulled the trigger and let it pull back. We'll see if today could be its bottom back here at 287. It got up to 290. And we'll have to take a look at MCD, good old McDonald's, and see if that was its bottom today. It very well could have been at 287. So I'll take a look at that tomorrow and let you guys know. And BA, this one was up. Remember, I said it was curling back up. I'm not sure how, but it is somehow. And watch for it to get back up to the 149. But it is bearish, so I wouldn't be messing with it. Boeing and yeah, it just keeps running up somehow. Space was down 15 cents. SPCE, that Virgin Galactic, and it's right between that channel. And I'm telling you, this thing's about to go to space soon. So keep your eye on it. It looks really good on my chart, actually. 690 to 697, down to 658, and it's back to 697 right now, is what it says here. So I would look at space SPCE. It is looking really good right there. And there you go with them bad boys. I'll go through our laptop travel list real quick and see if you guys have any other messages. And here we go. I'll run through these bad boys. We'll take a look and see what's setting up. Just about all of them, probably. Here we go. Here's a bunch more to add to your list for tomorrow. BBAI, that Big Bear AI Holdings. Where did this come from? Remember this guy? I remember looking at this down here. It never split. We were in like the dollar range on this guy, and it's up at 206 and looks like it wants to keep going. That BBAI. We were super early. If you had bought it when we were looking at it, you'd still be up on that. So that's BBAI looking good. I knew that looked familiar when I wrote it down. I couldn't remember what it was. It was that big bear one. BNOX, Bionomics, something like that. Up 3%, crawling up. Looks like it's gonna roll off of there and get cruising. That looks good. BNOX. CDT. Let's look at that conduit pharmaceutical. I remember this ran up really big for us. It looks like it's gonna get cruising back up and roll off. Yeah, this thing looks great for tomorrow, guys. CDT. You can keep an eye on that one, the CDT. CMTL. Let's look at that one and see what it's doing. CMTL. Comtech Telecommunications. And this one looks great. It's up 27 cents today, and it looks really good, guys. So keep your eye on that one for tomorrow. That one looks good for a momentum play up there. COSM, I'm telling you, all these are going to be pretty good. COSM, this one was running up today and yesterday. Let me just see. COSM. This one could pull back a little bit in between that channel because it did run up pretty good. So I'll keep an eye on that one. But the other ones are still looking great. CTHR, that Charles and Colvard, I'm telling you, they're getting set up to get cruising, guys. You want to keep an eye on that because that's got some room to move and it's going to. So CTHR looking really good. EFSH, I think we looked at the 1847 holdings, if I remember correctly. Yeah, we did. And it's crawling up really good. I know that. So keep your eye on that bad boy because it looks great. FRSX, Foresight Anonymous Holdings. And this one just ran up today a little bit. I have to look at this on mine. FRSX. Yeah, this one looks great. Actually, yesterday it looked great. 62 to 70. Today it's six. Hold on. Today's the 19th, right? Yeah. It was just that 66 cents. Something don't look right. I have to look at this thing. Something looks weird. I'll look at it tomorrow in case unless it like stopped. I have no idea. FRSX, I'll check it out though, or if anyone knows. GBR just didn't do anything anyway on my chart, so it looked kind of odd. GBR, that new concept energy, that one's curling on. Oh man, that one looks great, guys. That one's gonna be a popper right there. GBR. Let me see what that looks like on here. Yeah, that one looks good. It's already running up 121 to 124. It's at that 124, but it looks really good. And GFAI, this one's going, oh, that one looks great right now. We were looking at this the other day, and keep your eye on that one tomorrow. GFAI looking good. What's that gift looking like? GFIT. Let's see if that's looking good. I just gave you a bunch of gifts. So did laptop travel. Actually, this one's right there setting up. We'll look at gift tomorrow, but there's a ton of great gifts on here. That GBR and GFAI, GV. Let's look at that Visionary Holdings. That's just setting up right there. It's right there though. It's gonna start curling up. Doesn't look bad. IOVA down 24 cents. This one's probably making its bottom. I'll keep an eye on that because that one's going to be another great one. FLY. Wait, FLLY. I can't even talk. I think we did too many charts. FLL. What the? I can't even talk. LFLY. It's Leaf Fly Holdings. Why can't I say it? LFLY. That was crazy. Um, that's what happens when you get a brain injury. Sometimes you just can't say things that you want to say, and it just comes out all crazy in letters. I tell you that, and it's amazing. I like reading and stuff is tough, but I can do like letters like quick and charts, and uh and the charts don't bother me. But if I had to look at numbers, if I was an accountant and did fundamental shit, I couldn't do it anymore. Like the numbers, they all just go together. Somehow I can just look at these charts and it works out fine for me, but I totally couldn't say LFLY. There you go. Leaf Fly Holdings. That was wild. Um, so here we go. It was up 10 cents, and that cannabis sector is looking good anyway. So LFLY, Leaf Fly Holdings looks great. And I'm just going to look at MSOS real quick because we've looked at it. It was down 23 cents, but I'm telling you, these things are curling up to get moving. And just a little pullback today. Nothing too crazy, it don't look like, and that's that MSOS and MDIA. Let's see that media company. And this one's curling up really good. That's going to get bouncing right off of that 126 where it was. Came down to 122, but it looks really good right there. MDIA. Yeah, that looks real good to run too. That's set up. MLEC is like a Mulek or something. Mulek Sciences. I can remember these stock tickers and I can't remember anything else. It's kind of crazy. I can remember all the stock stuff and everything else I can't do. It's pretty wild, I'm telling you. Your brain works so crazy. And yeah, you just protect your brains. Trust me, you don't want to get smacked in the head real hard. It's wild when you do. But anyway, MLEC, Molex Science, that one's just kind of flattened out, but it wants to get cruising right there. So I have a feeling it's going to. Yeah, that one's going to cross through. It just kind of flattened out as it crossed, as it's hitting the line, but looks good. Remember before they would hit the line and just come crashing down? They're not doing that anymore. How exciting is that anyway? That's exciting in itself. Um, what is this one? I wrote down I don't know what I wrote down. I erased it. NTTP, but I don't think it's that. If you know what that one is, laptop travel. Snacks, SNAX. We were talking about having good snacks the other day when it was down here at the 75. It's up to like 94 right now, and it's going to get moving. SNAX. So take a look at that because that's curling up too, looking good. SPRC is the Israeli company, a biotech company, and that's curling up finally. That one's going to get moving, guys. Keep your eye on that bad boy tomorrow. SPRC, that one looks really solid right there. SXTP, 60 Degrees Pharmaceuticals, that's curling up really good too. Keep an eye on that bad boy. And SYPR. Let's look at that one. SYPR. And this one, just a little flap of getting rolling too. So keep your eye on that. That's setting up. It's going to get cruising. And UONE, this one was looking good the other day, I remember. And it is, oh, this one's crawling off and getting crazy. N tip, that's what I wrote. Yeah, I totally erased it. That's what it is. That's supposed to be a T and an I. There you go. I must have erased snacks. I must have messed up and erased N tip. So thank you. UONE is looking great though. That Urban One is looking really good to get moving. It's definitely going to get rolling off. Maybe it doesn't do it tomorrow, but it's setting up to do it. NTIP and NTIP down a penny, and that one's just trading between that channel, so we can give that a day or so and look at it. And WETH, We Touch Technology. That's that one with a kind of a creepy name. And We Touch Technology is about to get cruising, guys. It's setting up in the right spot. WETH, and it is looking good right there. And there we go. A ton of great setups. Like I said, I didn't even mark anything for the Mag 7. Every one of them looks good. Almost all of them big caps, except probably Intel, I think, was the only one going down for the most part, and Disney, I think. And obviously, be careful with PLTR and Sophie. ELAB will look at next TIA. They don't look bad. That TRNR looks decent for real good for tomorrow. EFSH looks great. Um, Obviously, that DXYZ just keeps running up there, and that VKTX is bouncing up. TNXP keeps running up there. HAO and AZI. I'll look at the AZI, make sure it's still curling back up there. That DBGI looks good, and NDRA is looking real good. What else? Buru and ITRM looking great. Holo looks like it's curling up, and VCIG setting up. The Yang looks like it's trying to keep going. ICCT's been moving, and that looks good. That TRUG looks decent. That True Golf. So I'll look at that tomorrow. It looks real good. And what else? UGL, the gold one, and RUM, and QLGN, and HOVR, and SOBR. They all look great, and SPRC looks really, really good. So yeah, plenty of them, and that GFAI and GBR, a lot of them on the laptop list. So there you go. I mean, a ton of them. Coca-Cola is looking great, KO, and just so many great ones. So there you go. I would say that's a pretty good market review right there. And you know that will be, I'm just going to hit the scanner real quick and then I'll hit the messages, see what's going on. That NCNC, the SOAR, SYRS. I mean, I'm sure we covered everything. We buy is coming, we buy might be curling back up. E-Labs right there. Like I said, that one should be looking decent. Yeah, I think we've basically covered everything. Let me just hit the messages and make sure I see everything. And, um, and Eileen said, now I know why I'm relearning from you. You're from New Jersey and she's from South Philly. There you go. You listen to the spaces, and that's too funny. Yeah, I'm not too far from the South Philly area. Like I said, I don't live too far from the sports stadium, so yeah, I'm right in that area. And I told you I live in a crazy. I grew up in working literally in the most dangerous city in America for years. And Eileen knows Camden, New Jersey. Just look it up. Not a place you want to get caught out in. And I walked around and did home inspections and fire inspections my entire life, going in people's homes and in the middle of. I mean, you're talking really, really bad areas. Used to have police escorts in certain spots in certain areas, and yeah, it was just wild. So I mean, it's a crazy area. You grow up around here, you learn fast, and yeah, it just moves quick around here. You have New York, Philadelphia, New Jersey. It's just one of them areas that you just gotta be on your toes and constantly kind of pivoting and moving around and doing things fast. And that's probably why I have a very, I'm a fast-paced person. I always was. I obviously slowed down a little bit with a brain injury, but even the show, it's a quick pace, boom, just run through stocks. I don't need to look at a stock for 30 minutes and talk about Tesla. What the hell am I talking about? I mean, we can talk about numbers all day, but they're pointless. Just show me the chart. I'll tell you what it's going to do and move on to the next one. So that's my philosophy anyway. And like I say, I look at thousands of charts in like a half hour. So that's the way I've always done it. So that's the way I just kind of approach things. But yeah, Eileen, that's awesome. You're from the South Philly area, so you definitely understand my mindset a little bit. And if you grow up around in this area, you kind of have to be fast paced and in this mindset because it's crazy. And especially, like I said, I've owned businesses in almost every industry you can imagine. And, and obviously had pretty good success in most things that I do. You're not going to have success in everything, but you're going to learn from the mistakes and make it better. And this is one of the best areas to do it in because you just have all kinds of everything's around here. Like I said, I have like 10 pizza shops in my town. It's wild. And you just have access to everything. So that's just where I grew up. And yeah, Eileen, so you're very familiar with my area for sure. And SMCI is up 1.41% to 28.67 overnight on Webbull, on Webull. So there you go. Thank you. And Snow's night price. Let's look at that bad boy. It's up to 130. It's up already even more. So like I said, Snow is looking great. And CVS, let's look at that. We were talking about it this morning. And let me look at that real quick before we end it. So let me take a quick peek at CVS since we know what Walgreens is doing. CVS was actually looking decent the other day, and they are curling through and looking much better. So I wouldn't be surprised if CVS buys out Walgreens. CVS seems to be the best one out of them all, to be honest. In my area, it seems to be that way, and on the charts, it seems to be that way. So CVS does not look bad at all. It does look like it's trying to curl up there and get moving, and it could get up to that $59 area. It's at 55 with no problem right there. So yeah, CVS not looking bad, and Walgreens not looking good. What is it? I forget what it even is. WBA. It's Walgreens Boots Alliance. Always throws me off, but yeah, just not looking healthy down there. Hopefully they get a bottom bounce right there. And even like yesterday, I would say yesterday that 820 should be that bottom look. And it's not even that bottom look. That's what's real scary. So it could, if it gets into the basement, they're in trouble. I'll tell you that right now. I don't care what the stock price is at. I can just tell you by looking at it for 3 seconds, they're going to be in trouble. And I've said it with Big Lots. I've said it with a couple companies, and they've announced the bankruptcy literally a week later. I'm not saying they're there yet, but they're getting there. And I've been saying it for like a month or two, and the price just keeps dropping. They were selling things off. And they just got hit with like $100 million settlement. That'll put a dent in your pocket real quick. So there you go. That's Walgreens for you. And I just tell you what I see, and that's it. So there we go. Boom. And hope everybody enjoyed that this evening. Told a couple of funny stories. The deli story is one of my favorites for sure. And there you go. And we'll be back at 7 a.m. So thank you, everybody. Laptop Travel for everything. Profit Logics, Eileen, Louis Rodriguez, Mike Drancalo, Miss Magdonia, Tommy, and we have a Doge Mama's on. How are you, Doge Mama? Bong Prichan and Sherry. Did I get to your Sherry? I wrote, yeah, because you had APLM and a couple other ones, and I definitely wrote them down, just making sure. Jay Kratz, DTM, the Pink Wolf is there. I wanted to say the Pink Fox because of Pink Fong. My son watches Pink Fong all the time. It's a Pink Fox. So every time I see that, I think of Pink Fong. So that if I ever say Pink Fox, you know why. But it's the Pink Wolf and Jonathan and Buddy and X-Man, Dwight Scott, Supreme and Alicia and Natalie and everybody else that was hanging out tonight. Greatly appreciate. I'm telling you, we have a great community right here, and we literally roll through the market and pick out all the poppers. That's for sure. We're generally 2 to 3 weeks early, so people that are listening, I try to keep up on the list, but you can see we go through a lot of them, and I try to pick out the best setups. And like I said, we're gonna really get into the picking the best profit ones for them days, and a lot of them are going to be the big caps. But I'll tell you, obviously, I love the penny stocks and picking 100 percenters. It's just fun, and So we'll definitely always be zeroed in on them, and it keeps my brain working pretty well too. So I enjoy it, and yeah, but I've been more focused, obviously, you guys know, on trading the options, and I'll make the video, tell you what I'm doing, and I really think that, the penny stocks are just hard to trade. Maybe they're going to get better, like I was saying yesterday, as the market's starting to shift and get a little better, but they were just almost impossible to trade these last couple years. You had to be up after 4 a.m. and then, all the stipulations and everything else. So hopefully it gets back to normal. But again, what I'm experiencing in options, I'm telling you, even when I was hitting 100 percenters in the stock market and 500 percenters, I'm still doing better with the options, and I'm barely, like I said, I just been kind of playing around, experimenting. Basically, with lemonade, I was playing around, looking the difference, honestly, what I was doing with that. I bought an option and some stocks, and then I just wanted to see really what the difference was. And I just happened to pick that one because it looked like it was going to pop up. And like I said, it went up a little higher than I thought it would. And yeah, the options, they just crushed the stocks, and it just proved what I was trying to do an experiment with. And again, I just did it very small. That's why I didn't have a big position. It didn't really matter one way or the other, to be completely honest, but I just wanted to see, and it did. It's just I just I see why a lot of people have been telling me for years, never understood why I traded stocks and not options. And I never understood what they were talking about, to be honest with you. But now I completely 100% get it. So I will definitely fill you guys in on the options and get you up to par and like kind of understanding how they are. They are a little confusing at first, but like I said, I think I have it pretty well figured out. I'm definitely no expert, you know that, but I'll tell you what I've learned and what I see that works and what doesn't work as well, and which are earnings. I just can't see the earnings. They're really tough. But yeah, that lemonade was basically just an experiment to see if stocks or options were better, and options just outperformed them. And it wasn't even close, considering what you had to put into the option versus the stock and what the profit was. They weren't even close. I mean, it was just crazy. I should have wrote it all down. I just did it just looking at it, honestly, but I just knew immediately just from seeing it. And yeah, it was just wild. I'm like, wow, the leverage is that crazy on these options that it makes that much of a difference. So there you go. And that's how you do it right there. And yeah, I just play around and mess around with things and just see what's happening in the market. I've been doing it a long time, but like I said, I got into the options now, and now I just want to see what works better and what doesn't. And like I said, I kind of want to focus more on the Mag 7, the big cappers, and just find the ETFs for them for the most part, because they're going to be your biggest winners. And I was experimenting with that as well. So I just kind of figured out exactly which direction I want to take it, what worked best and what didn't, and what even worked, but comparable, what's going to be more profitable. And that's what I was looking at, just going across the board at everything. And yeah, the ETFs just blow everything out the water, and and the options outperform stocks by a long shot, I would say, because of the leverage and the amount of money you'd have to put into a stock compared to what you're going to put into an option and get them 100 shares on leverage. It's not even comparable. So there you go, a little lesson right there at the end of the show. And yeah, that's why I was experimenting, but I think I'm pretty much done experimenting. I've been kind of trading pretty heavy now and just crushing them. So I'm pretty happy with things. And like I said, I'll get you guys on board. I'm comfortable with making that video, and I just want to figure out the live feed stuff so that I don't really have to edit the stuff, and you guys can just watch it live as well and see exactly see me run right through the charts right then and there. So instead of waiting for me to upload a video. So there you go, everybody. Have a great night. On for like 2.5 hours right there. Good show. Thank you, everyone. We'll be back at 7 a.m. for pre-market. to see what's happening. And hopefully our SMCI is rocking and rolling. And Nvidia is. We'll find out what time their earnings is because it'll definitely say it on the stock twit. So it probably won't say it now anyway. So I'll look at that tomorrow and we'll figure that out. But it looks like the market should be green just from looking at the SPY, to be honest with you. It does look pretty damn healthy to get moving there. So I think we're in good shape. We'll check it out first thing in the morning. I'll see you guys at 7 a.m. Have a great night, everybody, and thanks for hanging out. And let me just make sure I didn't miss anything here. Hold on. I just want to make sure there's no more messages that I'm gonna miss. Cool. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anybody. I didn't look. Alrighty there. So everyone have a good night, and I'll catch you guys at 7 a.m. and we will crush our pre-market and the rest of the week. And there you go. So I'll see you guys in the morning. Have a good night.